Reverence and love, I offer myself at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Brothers, sisters, respected elders, a very heartfelt Sai Ram to all of you. And welcome to the Guru Purnima observance at the Flushing Sai Center. On many occasions, Swami has said that three things are very rare in life, namely human birth. To be born a human is an extremely rare privilege. Having been born a human, to have the urge to know and realize God is even rarer. And what is extremely rare is having this urge to realize God, to come in contact with a realized soul, is very, very rare indeed. In the case of followers of our beloved Swami, we are extremely fortunate that we came into contact with the very source and inspiration of all realized souls, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba himself. As we observe Guru Purnima today, we're indeed fortunate to have the satsang, the holy company of a very distinguished Sai couple, Dr. Sunder Iyer and Mrs. Maya Iyer. Dr. Sunder Iyer was one of the first students to join Swami's Institute in 1979. And he had the rare privilege of being a personal attendant to our beloved Swami. And being a personal attendant, he was blessed with direct divine guidance from our beloved Swami, which he's here to share with all of us. He completed his PhD in banking and finance, but his real passion was yoga. And he was probably the only student to receive a gold medal in yoga from his divine chancellor, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. His wife, Mrs. Maya Iyer herself, was raised in the divine physical proximity of our beloved Swami since the age of 13 when she joined Swami's school and completed her graduation from the Institute of Higher Learning. She was among the first batch of students to be selected by our beloved Swami to be sent for advanced training to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and subsequently she joined the super specialty hospital in Puttaparthi to serve Swami over there. She also is a very great proponent, advocate of yoga, and in fact received the title of Yoga Shiromani, meaning the teacher of yoga, from a very renowned Vedanta center in South India. As you know, the theme for today's Guru Purnima observance is "With love, man is God." And I'm sure you will all agree that there probably is no better person to expand on this theme than our distinguished guests for today. So without further ado, please join me in giving a very loving welcome Dr. Sunder Iyer and Mrs. Maya Iyer.
I offer my most prayerful salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Sadguru, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. I'd like to begin the session for the day and set the tone for the day with a little offering of the sloka, which can only be offered at the feet of a Sadguru, as magnanimous, as benevolent, as powerful, as loving as our beloved Sai.
ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिम् द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशम् तत्त्वम् अस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलम् अचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सद्गुरुं तं नमामि.
These are the very words that describe this Sadguru. And I want to take a few minutes just to explain this, because while the music is hopefully good, and I sang hopefully well, while you enjoyed that part, I think it's more important we understand the meaning behind each and every word, and that gives us an idea of whom are we even trying to comprehend. Brahmanandam, the one who is always established in the bliss of the Brahman. Paramasukhadam, and once you are established in Brahman, ever content. Paramasukhadam. Kevalam, one and only. Jnanamurtim, embodiment of knowledge. Dvandva atitam, the one who transcended duality. Gagana sadrisham, one whose vision is as expansive as the sky itself. Dvandvatitam gagana sadrisham tattvam asyadi lakshyam. His goal, his vision, his eyes were only set on the profound truths such as tattvam asi. Thou art that. That was all he thought of. That was all he preached. That was all he lived. Tattvam asyadi lakshyam. Ekam. Oneness. He saw only one. Nityam. Constantly established in that oneness. Vimalam. And established in that oneness, he was completely and absolutely pure. Achalam. Unshakable. Unmoving. Ever still. Ekam, Nityam, Vimalam, Achalam, Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam. And established in that stillness, he was witness to everything that went by. Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam, Bhava Atitam. He was beyond all qualities. All that we speak of, the good, bad and ugly, he was all beyond that. Bhava Atitam, Tri Guna Rahitam. He was devoid of the three gunas. Sadgurum tam namami. To this Guru, this embodiment of divine wisdom, this Sadguru, I bow. Brothers and sisters, this is going to be the tone of today's satsang. And I think it's very important for us, and that's why I loved at the topic, at the theme when my namesake and my brother Sunder called me. Very rarely Sunder calls Sunder. Wasn't there a Hindi movie like that, something called somebody? I don't know. But Sunder calls Sunder. So, and he said the theme of the theme is love. With love, man is God. And I jumped at it. I said, let that be the theme. That's wonderful. It is very true. And today we're going to explore, try to comprehend and understand the fact that all of us sitting here, individually in a group, all of those who are not sitting here, the chairs that we sit on, the walls that are around us, are all simply manifestations of the same divinity. So finally, at the end of the day, hopefully we will be able to go in and say, this Sadguru that I bowed down in the morning is here. So you bow down to yourself, your higher self. That, to me, is the essence of what Swami stood for. That is the spirit that energized him, that empowered him, that we saw him day in and day out. And I hope to share this throughout the day. What we are going to achieve in this 2-hour session are steps to understand how we can go towards this. How can we realize that we are divine? Now, for those of us who are students, and I see many here, some of them I'm going to meet after 10 or 15 years. Ravi is one of them. We did not, when we spent our youth, and Sri Ram, and when we spent our youth in Puttaparthi, in Swami's presence, there were no Google and internet at that time. We couldn't go in and say, let's check out what the scripture means and what that scripture means. Everything that we learned was from Swami. And again, what caused the transformation was not Swami's discourses, was not his profound wisdom that he spoke to us, which was always there. But we couldn't grasp everything he said. It took me years to understand that one word of his beginning of his speech, Divyatma Swaruparala, that is enough for you to get enlightenment. That's all. Embodiments of divine Atma, embodiments of love. That's how he saw people even before he spoke. So it took us years to understand that. But while that was going on, what caused us to go within, to introspect, to get inspired, was the way he lived. His actions spoke louder than his words. And we all know that. It was not just Puttaparthi. What he has left behind for the world to cherish are wonderful things. I mean, he has done things which no ordinary human can even comprehend. So we want to understand this and see how we can seek this inspiration from this divine master who walked the earth. But before that, I want us to do a small exercise. And the exercise is, no, not headstand. Chaisai was thinking it's going to be a headstand. We did a yoga workshop yesterday with the YAs. We had good fun. And they didn't do headstands, by the way. I don't want to get sued when I'm in New York and New Jersey. The exercise is, I want us to cleanse ourselves mentally, spiritually. What does that mean? In true spirituality, as I learned from Swami, is beyond all this ethics. Triguna Rahitam is beyond ethics. So I'm not talking of, when I say cleansing, I'm not talking of good and bad, all that. The cleansing is just the fact that this is an instrument given to me. What am I doing with it? The fact that we are not realized we are divine, the fact that we don't experience God within us, is lack of cleanliness. We are too full of our stuff. We are holding on to a preconceived image of who we are. We are holding on to what I believe in, what I think I am. And as long as we are holding on to that, we are causing uncleanness in our body, and therefore we cannot invite him to this altar which is unclean. You see how clean this altar is? How beautiful this altar is? Why do you feel this is divine? Part of it is because it's extremely clean. So if we can empty ourselves and cleanse ourselves, we can allow God to come and reside. I think it's very important, because we spend the rest of the day, our feet drag us away from God. Our thoughts drag us away from God. Our words drag us away from God. Our eyes drag us away from God. Everything that we do the rest of the time is something different. I know God is everywhere, but then we don't perceive it that way. Let's clean that. Let's open up that and say, God, just permeate this. And which is why I like to sing this song. It's a very beautiful poem. At first, when I heard this, I thought, why is this such a pessimistic song? But then I realized this is what the poet probably meant. It is in Hindi. Maili chadar od ke kaise dwar tumhare hao. How can I come to your presence with this unclean blanket? These Sufi poets compared their body to the blanket. They said, Maili chadar od ke kaise dwar tumhare hao. Have I ever closed my eyes completely to see you within me? I haven't. Have I ever bowed my head to bow down to the God within me? I haven't. And yet I am here waiting for you. How can I even come to you with this unclean blanket? Allow me to offer a couple of paragraphs of this song, and then we will take it from there.
मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे द्वार तुम्हारे मन ही मन शर्माऊं मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे द्वार तुम्हारे आऊं हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे हे पावन परमेश्वर मेरे मन ही मन शर्माऊं मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे निर्मल वाणी पाकर तुझसे नाम न तेरा गाया I have this voice that you've given me and I haven't chanted your name. How often do I do it? Every Sunday, every Friday? निर्मल वाणी पाकर तुझसे नाम न तेरा गाया नयन मूंग कर हे परमेश्वर कभी न तुझको ध्याया मन वीणा I thought people applaud only for music programs, but thank you. It's always nice to get an applause. The reason why we need to go through this apparent barrier is because we need to be humble enough when we come to God to say, God, this is where I am. I am bound by my self-image. I'm bound by my limitations. I'm bound by my senses. Prayer is one of the most powerful means of taking you from point A to point B. From the zebra to the Zen, I think the easiest and the most powerful way is chanting the name of God and prayer. But it comes with its own package. Chanting the name of God is not something you do on a weekly basis. And just because you attend centers and attend satsangs and you chant that 1 hour bhajan, you sing bhajans, and many of people think I have to sing in the mic to sing a bhajan, and that's okay. We'll come to that later. But it is not just restricted to that. Any place, anywhere. I remember once, one of my very first encounters with Swami was, I said, Swami, when do I do Namasmarana? And almost immediately he jumped at me. He said, everywhere, anywhere. I was like, oh my God, did I ask something wrong? That was my initial reaction. But then he said, ekkadana chai, eppudana chai. Because I was thinking, I was learning yoga and all, then I thought maybe early morning, Swami will say, get up in the morning, Brahma Muhurtam and all. And immediately he was like, anywhere, everywhere. Bathroom lokani, kitchen lokani, ekkadana chai. Whether you're in the shower, whether you're in the kitchen, anywhere you want, if you feel like chanting the name of God, do it. And it's fascinating because, we wonder how do we bring spirituality into our everyday life. You can do it any place. Even if it's 2 minutes, it doesn't have to be, do I sing Ganesha first and then Guru Bhajan and then Devi Bhajan? No. You're driving, you feel like listening to a bhajan, listen. You don't feel like it, don't make it a ritual. Oh, today I didn't listen to a bhajan, maybe something will go wrong to me, let me listen to a bhajan. No. Let fear not drive you in spirituality. You get nowhere with fear. I think some of the political twists that we got to our scriptures is when they added the Falashruti at the end of every prayer. Chant this, you'll be blessed with children, wealth, car, bungalows. Because if you don't chant it, maybe you may lose it. So they caused all this. Fear doesn't get you anywhere. Don't do things out of fear. Don't make it a ritual. Don't make it a habit. It has to be with love. With love, man is God. So you feel like listening, listen. You don't feel like listening, don't listen. Over a period of time, you will start gravitating towards God. That energy will slowly build up. As we talked to the YAs yesterday, we said work from the hub, and then slowly the hub takes over. God takes over your life. There is a power within each one of us that will speak through us, that will see through us, that will guide us through our lives. It's fascinating when you allow that power to take over. It's a step-by-step process. But then you will enjoy the process itself becomes the destination. So in this presentation, all I want to do is to share with you 6 words. Because finally, we end the whole day in satsang, we listen to so much. What do we take home? I want to make it very simple. I like to break it down and say, just take these 6 words. 6 words that inspired us, that I carry with me, believe it or not, every day of my life, that guides me. These are the 6 words, very simple 6 words. Are you ready to take it home? I'm going to give you one at a time. The first word, and it's not one of your favorites, I'm sure. I think that is the crucial thing for us in a spiritual path. Why discipline? Why this ugly word again? I thought we do that only to our kids. Why is this guy now telling us? You know what inspired me the most? And while I was in Puttaparthi and we were, the first couple of years, we were all running to darshan, sitting there. My mind was internally not fully yet at his feet. I was still questioning. How can he be? What is this? He says he's God. People say he is God. How can that be? Surely he must be living, how does he live inside? What does he do inside? I want to know that. Because by then, if I've not already mentioned this in the last time I spoke, by then I had seen so many holy people who spoke a lot of stuff but didn't do anything. Who showed a life of simplicity outside but was living a very different life inside. There was a public image and a private image. We learned that later in Johari window model in business. That you have a public image and you have a private image. And the more these two merge together, you become a leader. And so I wanted to know what was the private image of Swami. That was not out of an arrogance, but I was truly yearning. I said, I really want to believe in Baba, but it won't come till I want to know what goes on. So I used to be, after these so-called room boys, we used to call them, they would come before Swami's darshan and sit and whatever, and I used to ask them, what does Swami do inside? Nothing, it's okay, they'll go by. I'm like, come on, tell me, man, come on. I would never get it. And whatever little they said also, I wanted to see myself. And in an interview, when Swami asked me, what do you want? I said, I don't want anything. He said, no, tell me what you want. I said, I want to be in your room. He said, okay, start from tomorrow. It was so simple. And that is where my faith actually built upon itself. Because there, I saw a completely different Baba. And why do I say different? Because it was nothing like what it was in public. In public, he was walking like a king. He would drop a handkerchief, there'll be 10 people diving to pick it up for him. He would hold 10 envelopes and somebody else will say, Swami, let me carry it. He would be like a king. It was beautiful to, of course, watch him do that. He would come and sit on a throne studded in gold and silver, and there would be a fan, and that, there was a sense of royalty that he carried around himself, which is beautiful. But inside was completely the opposite. He was a simpleton. There was one single sofa in a room which was barely 10 feet by 12 feet, completely stone walls. You've talked of solitary confinement. I don't know if you have any idea what that means. Believe me. And those windows were not even glasses. They were wooden windows, all closed. One will be open, hoping some breeze will come, and one ceiling fan. Completely. I was like, this is Swami's room? This is where he sits and meets his authorities. The VIPs will all go and keep standing there. They don't have a chair to sit. So if they were old, Swami will say, give him a chair, and we'll have a folding chair, open it, and Colonel Jogara or somebody will come and sit. Swami will say, he can't stand for so long, let him sit down. That was what surprised me as an individual. But slowly, as I saw him live a life of complete discipline, it was fascinating. And I said, oh my God, he is not only telling us to be disciplined, look at him. He is far more disciplined than he is even expecting us. He would tell us, get up at, we had 5 o'clock or 5:15, we were supposed to get up in the hostel. And coming from Bombay, you would have thought, oh my God, 5 o'clock is, what is it, like midnight? But, in my family, personally, my father would get up at 3:30 and do the puja. And that one, in Bombay apartments, the bedroom becomes the puja room in the morning, comes back to living room in the daytime, and becomes a bedroom at night, correct? We fold the beds, put it up in the attic. So I was used to getting up early. But having told the boys to get up at 5 o'clock, I saw Swami would be up by 4 o'clock. Then he would have his shower. He will do his work with a flashlight because the Omkaram Suprabhadam down in the Bhajan hall would not start till 5:30 or 5:45. He would not put on the light in his bedroom. I know I've said this before, but it's worth going back to it again and again, because in 20 years after I left him also, I only think of that. Every time I feel bored in my life and I think my basement needs uplifting, or I think I need to paint the walls, I'll say, look at it. Somebody back there did that for 65 years. And then he moved to Purnachandra Auditorium, where fortunately towards the last years of his life, he actually, hopefully, had some comfort. But for the most important part of his span, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, I think he lived a life which is very, very intriguing, I can't even imagine how one person can do that. Even if they're confined, there was not a 60-inch plasma TV there where you could sit and watch. Nothing. There was no entertainment. All that. The reason is because I want to establish where do we think, our sense of entertainment, our sense of life. That's why I said this Maili Chadar. How we have corrupted this blanket with all these likes and dislikes. And here is somebody who comes and tries to live like us, because he tried to live like us. I think that was a miracle. He tried to be a human being with all the powers he had. So he lived like us, set an example for us, but yet he couldn't come down to that level. He was there still. He said, what was the source of that inspiration? What was the source of that power? And so discipline, I think, is the key to spirituality. Even though he was the ultimate banyan tree which gave shade to the millions who sought the knowledge and the energy and the source and the sustenance, though he provided it, yet he was firmly rooted in the basics of discipline. He never let that go. He never said, oh, I just want to relax today. In the hottest of afternoons, there will be only one button in his robe that will be open. Wearing a silk robe in 120 degrees in Andhra Pradesh, he's not even having a basement, he's right on top. With the one window open, with a ceiling fan is all that gives you the breeze. One button you'll open out of a silk robe. It's fascinating. Why would he do that when he is alone? I think, doesn't he feel hot? Doesn't he feel miserable? Among men, I am a man. Among women, I am a woman. Among children, I am a child. Alone, I am God. That's what he said. That's what I believe he knew. And that's how he lived. Alone, he was God Almighty. So the first word that we need to take home, whatever it means to you. I'm not going to tell you get up in the morning at 3 o'clock and have shower with a flashlight. That doesn't make sense to us. Okay? Because nobody's dying to have a darshan. Except if you're newly married and your spouse is waiting, honey, I miss you. It's very important for us to understand that discipline has to be the core of our lives. Because our senses drive us so crazy and we become, without even knowing, become slaves of our senses. Without even knowing, we have already decided which music I like, which music I don't like, which color I like, which color I don't like. This is soft, this is hard. So our senses has built a reality around us. And believe me, all that we think is real is all brought about by senses. And the Vedas, the scriptures, the masters have told us that this is not real. And today in science they're discovering, symbiosis or whatever they call the eye can, they show you two colors and you can actually see a third color when it doesn't even exist. The mind makes up reality. So when you are a slave to your senses, you start building a reality around you and you think that is real, which isn't. What we see around, what we hear, what we touch and see, what information given to us by senses is not real. And therefore we need to control these senses. We need to put them in their place. Otherwise they drive your life. Everything revolves around you, around the senses. And that's not a great place to be. So if you want to go man is God stage, you have to do it discipline. And while discipline sounds like such a dry, hard thing, oh my God, please, not that word again. Let's just do bhajans. That's also part of discipline. The simplest thing is with love. You can do it with love. Do it with love. What does that mean? If your desire for God is so powerful, everything will fall in place. That's all. How do you sit for 3 hours, you don't move? I was talking about this to the YAs yesterday and I've said it in many places. And bear with me if you've heard this before, but how is it that we are able to sit through a 2.5 hour or a 3 hour Hindi movie, or a Tamil movie, or a Telugu movie, or a Kannada movie, or English movies are never 3.5 hours, fortunately, 1.5 hours. How are we able to sit through these movies with no problem? We are not complaining of food. We forget to eat food. We sometimes eat without even knowing. Oh, I forgot to put salt in the food. Oh, na, parvaledu, it was tasty. Because you are engrossed in that movie. How are we able to do this? Love for the movie. The desire is so powerful that it overpowers everything else. If that same desire can be turned inward to God. That's all it requires. We have taken the energy God has given us. We have taken the tools. That's why I said Meli Chadar. We have taken this blanket, these tools that God, that we have earned it through many births. And what we have done with that is we are diverting it outside rather than going within. Instead of using these very tools to find out who we are, who am I, what is my purpose, how am I God, how does Baba come and do exactly what I did? He ate like me, he slept like me, he walked like me, and boom, look at what he did and look what I'm doing. Instead of going inside, we are taking it out there. And therefore we become slaves, therefore we feel weak, we mistake that as humility. We say, Ayyo, I am a simple devotee, he is God, I am nothing. No, devotion is very powerful. Devotion is not something you cover down like this. Have you ever seen Hanuman, any picture of Hanuman which says, Ayyo, Ram, 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 like this? Hanuman is like solid power. He tears his chest open and says, Ram. Devotion is powerful. So, if devotion is not empowering you to face your day, something is wrong with your concept of devotion. Go within and explore that. So, I think discipline is the most important part. And I want to present these 6 in the context of my favorite Guru, Shankaracharya. I think he's a fascinating person. He was a divine being who shared with us profound truths. And this was what he said when he talked about this first aspect. Bring in discipline, stop chasing this, stop going out chasing wealth, chasing your desires. It never ends. Muda, he says, don't be crazy about that. Because where you are today is what you did yesterday, what you did in the past. And if you're not happy where you are today, then change course. If you are driving here and you find you're on the wrong path, what are you going to do? Aren't you going to change course? Go back to the GPS and say, okay, something is going wrong. Let's go back and forth. Right? Don't you do that? We do that. Then why can't, if I'm very happy where I am today, that's different. But if I am not happy where I am, if I am discontented, or there is a sense of discontentment, there is a sense of seeking inside me today, that's because where I was yesterday, I'm here today. Can I change my course today so tomorrow at least I can be a little more content? Then change course further, so day after tomorrow I can be even more content, and there will be a day where I'll be completely one with the Supreme. Where you will feel Baba, you will hear Him, you will allow Him to be you. Muda jahi dhanagama trishna. Trishna, desire for wealth, for luxury, for comfort. We are chasing, our entire life is probably spent into that. Muda jahi. Muda jahi dhanagama trishna. Kuru sadbuddhim manasi vikrishna. Where you are today, remember the Sat Buddha. Focus on the truth and overcome that crazy desire to run outward. After this profound truth, what does he say? Just like Bhagavan said, chant the name of Govinda. Just chant. If you can't understand, if it's too tough for you, just chant the name of Govinda. So let's see how that goes. Muda jahi dhanagama trishna. Muda jahi dhanagama trishna. Kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrishna. Kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrishna. Yallabhase nija karmopatam. Yallabhase nija karmopatam. Vittam tena vinodaya chetam. Vittam tena vinodaya chetam. Krishna Rama, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama. Let's sing together. Krishna Rama Govinda, Gokula Nandana Gopala. Rama Krishna Govinda Trai Vrindavana Gopala. Sadhe Krishna Govinda Trai Vrindavana Gopala. Gopala Sai Gopala. Gopala Radhe Gopala. Radhe Gopala. Gokula Nandana Goparipala. Radhe Gopala. Gokula Nandana Goparipala. Radhe Gopala. Krishna Rama Govinda Gokula Nandana Gopala. Anytime anything becomes very difficult, chant the name of God. That is the shortcut. That is the secret backdoor entry, or the hotline to God. Just chant the name of God. Very simple. And when you're alone and singing, you don't have to worry about Shruti and Talam and Ragam. You heard Swami say that. Just chant from your heart, sing from your heart. It doesn't mean that when you do a bhajan session. Thank you. It's a lot of water. They're not going to let me do this in the middle of my talk. I think it's very important for us, this chanting of name of God is crucial. And we need to understand that our desires, one day we're going to leave all this and go. And I'll quickly sum up this with this beautiful anecdote with Swami. So here's a scenario. We are all sitting at his feet in Vrindavan, the old bungalow in Vrindavan, before Trai Vrindavan was built. And this was just before the 60th birthday, and Swami had taken us, a few of us there, just for a week or so, I think. And we were sitting around Swami. And one evening, he is sitting on the chair outside, and he's looking down. He was talking to us something, and I don't know what that was, but then he looked down and suddenly stopped talking, and we were wondering what he's looking down at, and we looked down, and there was this big black ant. That's called the carpenter ant, right? The big one. I don't know if that is ascribed to Ganesha or which god, I don't know, but there was an ant. Now this ant was slowly crawling by, and so what was so different about this ant? It had a piece of stick or something that it was carrying, much larger than it can. So it was holding on its whatever, and it was crawling across. There was a small crack in the cement. So Swami says, chudu, 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 watch. So we were all looking at the ant, and the ant wondered what to do with that. There was a crack. What did it do? It put that stick on that crack and then walked over it, then grabbed the stick again and continued walking. He said, good thinking. And Swami was commenting, we were laughing, but we were wondering where this is going. Right? It was all just within a matter of 2 or 3 feet. So it all happened pretty fast. Then it went, and there was a crack, below the wall and the road, and the ants usually just go within that, right? So there's a small crack, and the ant finally went there, and it tried to take whatever it had in its mouth along with it into that hole. It tried its best. Finally, it gave it up and went inside. Swami said, Ade, mee luggage anta odalesi eltunnaru meeru kuda alage. He said, you will also one day leave all this luggage you are carrying. With so difficulty you carried the luggage. One day you have to leave it and go. All your learning, all your buddhi, all that you're acquiring, you're going to leave it and go, like this ant. You can't take it with you. And at that moment, he didn't quote Vedas, he didn't quote scriptures, but at that moment, a bell rang. And imagine if such bells keep ringing every time you sit with Swami. It has to make a change in your life. It's fascinating just to take that small lesson that nature taught us that day, and the master sitting there observing the ant. What we would have done if we had seen the ant, I would have gone for a broom first and cleaned it. But he saw everything as an experience of that oneness. Everything taught him a lesson. He used every aspect of his life to constantly teach and share the divinity. So at one day, if we are going to give it time and go, then why are we chasing it beyond a point? Why are we chasing it? That is a question we need to know, and that's why discipline leads us to the next D, and that is discrimination. Discrimination is very crucial. It's very crucial. We need to be able to discriminate this very fact, this very story of what is my life all about. You know, Swami would... I have a story which I read on the internet a few days ago, and I need to share that because I think it kind of blends into this. If it doesn't, it's just a good story. Enjoy it. No, I'm sure it does. And that's why I think that's the reason it came to my mind. A girl goes to her mother and complains about how that life is treating her very badly and she's miserable in her life and all that. And this wise mother tells her, come to the kitchen. And she says, let's start cooking while you talk. And the girl keeps complaining about what her life is. And while she's going on and on about how pitiable her life is and how she's going through all that, the mother said, do you want a carrot? She laid out some carrots on the cutting table or the island, if you will. And then she goes and gets some eggs and keeps it. And then she gets some coffee. She says, you want carrot, eggs, or coffee? And the girl says, Mom, you weren't listening to me. Are you listening to me? She says, yes, but I want to know, you want carrot, egg, or coffee? She says, I'm not hungry. And the mother says, think about it. Think about these three and think about where you are now. And are you a carrot, or are you an egg, or are you a coffee? What is it you are? And she says, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, let's see. She takes the carrot and puts it in boiling water. After 10 minutes, she takes out the carrot, is all soft. She said, you are hard and strong when you were young. You say you thought you knew everything. You went into the hot water of life and went through the experiences of life. And then you came out, now you're all, I'm suffering, I'm tired, I'm soft. What happened? Are you the carrot? And the daughter says, what about the eggs now? Just finish this story, then I'll tell you where I am. So let's see what happens to the eggs. So she takes the egg and puts it in the boiling water. And after a while, she takes it out and peels it. And she says, look, the egg was all soft inside, very delicate. But now, the water of life has made it hard, boiled egg. So have you become hard inside? Have you no more emotions, no more love? What is it? Have you become soft and miserable, or have you become hard inside? And then finally she said, let's see the coffee beans, what happens? So she crushes the coffee beans, emphasis on first crushes, and then puts it through the hot water. And then she says, look at the water now. The coffee bean went through the hot water just like all this, but it changed the color of the water and it gave an aroma to the water. That's why I like coffee, by the way. But are you the carrot, the egg, or the coffee? What happens to you when the hammer shatters glass? The same hammer forges steel. So what you are depends on how you take when things happen to you. Don't blame the hammer. Look at yourself. Am I a glass or am I a steel? Am I ready to be forged and allow my maker to handle me? Am I the gold that he is taking me into the fire? Or am I something which I'm afraid of? I don't want the fire. I don't want all the trials and tribulations. It doesn't happen that way. So we need to discriminate and often ask ourselves, where am I now? Am I a coffee bean? Do I have the power to change the very circumstances that I'm complaining about? Why can't we? We complain about work, we complain about kids, we complain about husbands. My wife doesn't. I heard somebody else doing that. We complain about husbands, we complain about wives, we complain about, I don't know, everything. That's why I was talking to the wives yesterday. Today, as a community, it's become a disease. Wellness is an issue in America. Blame McDonald's, blame Wendy's, blame everybody else around you. Don't go there, yeah? Come on. You don't want to eat, don't go. Oh, advertisements are ruining our life. Don't watch them, mute them. Don't watch. Oh, TV is ruining our life. TV is not ruining our life. You sitting in the front of the TV, you putting on the TV, that is ruining your life. Am I right? So we need to discriminate. Why are we blaming the whole world? Can I become the coffee bean? Can I change this very circumstance? Can I use the TV for my spiritual upliftment? Yes, you can. There are enough programs on TV that you can watch. Can I make the internet and the online be part of my... Yes, you can. Find out how. You can. The way will be shown to you if you have the desire and the discipline to follow. So we need to discriminate constantly and ask ourselves, where do we stand? What are we doing? And I found Swami is a finest example as how he would put things in perspective. And we would wonder, how does he even do this? Like that ant story, for example. He would put it in perspective and say, this is what it is all about. And he would often say, as you grow old, you are here and you are healthy, so everybody is your friend. As you grow old and sick, even your family will not want you. And this is a traditional thing. We're not blaming our kids or we're not blaming the society. This is part of tradition. This has been in our scriptures. That is why at the age of 80, people would take up sannyasa and relinquish everything and go. These days it is old age homes. Those days it's ashrams. I don't think that has changed. But rather than resisting and expecting people to take care of us, which is good, we need to realize as individuals that one day I'm going to be so old and so sick that nobody may be even really interested in me. Which is a matter of fact. It is a matter of fact. And so am I ready to be one with God? What do you do at that time? When your body is frail, when you're sick, when you're old, at that time don't think you're going to start sadhana. It's impossible. Even now, when we are in the 40s and 50s, we're already so ingrained in our habitual patterns of thinking, which is why we find it so tough. Why is spirituality so tough? It's not tough. You made it tough because the last 35 years of our life, we have already gone in one path. Now we want to go the other way. So that's why I love SSC. That's why I love Bal Vihar and Bal Vikas and all these children-oriented organizations, because that's a perfect time to kickstart that process of thinking. It's okay to teach a kid, go within and find God inside. It's okay to tell a child, close your eyes and find God inside. So it's very important for us to keep this discrimination on, because that will keep us on the path. That is, keep us on the path. Constant inquiry, constant introspection. Why? Why am I jumping at this? Why am I getting excited at this? Why? Let's talk for a minute. That will put things in perspective. And Shankaracharya again shares this wonderfully. So let us go through this second D. And again, when discrimination becomes too much, this constant thinking is tiring me. I can't go on discriminating. I'm becoming paranoid. Chant the name of God. Very simple. Yavadvitto Parjana Saktah Stavan Nija Parivaro Raktah Yavadvitto. When you're healthy, everybody's around you. But when you're old, nobody's going to be around you. You will be alone. Yavadvitto Parjana Saktah Stavan Nija Parivaro Raktah Yavadvitto Parjana Saktah Stavan Nija Parivaro Raktah Pasya Jivati Jarjara Dehe Pasya Jivati Jarjara Dehe Vartam Ko Pina Prishchati Ge Vartam Ko Pina Prishchati Ge Sai Sundara Sundara Sai Sundara Sai Sundara Sundara Ananta Guna Mandira Sundara Sundara, Bhuvana Sundara. Sai Sundara, Sundara, Sundara. The only one who's established completely in the beauty of divinity can truly be beautiful till the last day of his life. And that's Sai Sundara. There is no picture till the last picture of Swami that you can ever look at and say, oh, he's too old. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. The third D, which again I find Swami as a fascinating example, is determination. Once you discriminate and once you're disciplined, once you set your eyes on something that is which you in your depth of your heart feel it's right, the only next step is to be determined to follow that to the very end. It was fascinating to see Swami completely determined to carry his mission through. Nothing could shake him. Nothing could stop him. And it always fascinates me. You know, when especially after Swami's Samadhi, I've been doing a lot more retreats. And I think it's very important. I'm very humbled that I'm getting that opportunity to be a servant and to spread his message, because I want to share that inspiration and faith. And what I tell is, let us resist the temptation of making him another god, putting him up there and saying, yeah, he's avatar, he's this, he does all. That's all fine. But why did he then come to us as a human being? Because he wanted us to know that you can do it too. Why do you sit down with your child and sit and say, A for apple? Why do you do that? Do you need to do it? No. But you sit with the child and you're ready to make a fool of yourself, just between you and your child. Right? And what do you do? You sing the silly rhymes, you chant A for apple. Why? Because you want to show the child she can do it too. Correct? Why does a big musician sit down to teach and he says, let's start with Sa? Why does he come down to your level to teach you that you can sing too? Am I right? Don't we all do this? We all have a teacher. We all have done this at some level in our life. Why do we do this? If we did this, then look at him who came down, who lived like us. Why? So that we make one more God? We have 330 million gods already, for crying out loud. We don't want one more to put out there. All our 7 days in the week is filled with pujas and rituals and fear of Hanuman and Devi and Shakti, and everybody is there. Monday is Shiva, Tuesday I don't know, Wednesday I don't know, Thursday is Guru I know, Devi is on Friday, Saturday is Shani or Hanuman. I don't know, it just goes on, never ends. So don't make him one more day. Don't reduce him to one more day, one more week, one more puja, one more event in the year to put in your calendar. Oh, we had so much fun, Ganesh Chaturthi, oh my, so much dancing and singing, oh my gosh, that was awesome. I am afraid that 50 years down the line, Sai Baba will be one more social event in everybody's calendar. But we have done that to all the gods. What stops us from doing it to this one? Unless we stop right now and discriminate and tell our children, this is not Dhara Hari Vitala Panduranga Vitala Pandarinath 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 Vitala. Let the name of God constantly be in our minds. Let the name of God inspire us through our breath. Let the name of God fill every fiber of our being, because in the name is God, and the name is God. The name of Sai, the name of Jesus, the name of Krishna, the name of Allah, doesn't matter. Call on His name, call on His form, and He is there with you, guiding you every moment of the day. He is more eager to accept us than we are to know Him. Sai Ram. One of those gods. This is not one of those gods. This God I have seen. He lived like us. He talked like us. He ate like us. He slept like us. He fell down like any one of us could. He sat in a wheelchair that, God forbid, any one of us could be in. And yet, look what He did with His life. I ask myself, what am I doing with my life? That sense of determination, it was so powerful in Swami that nothing stopped Him from doing what He wanted to do. And if we can take an iota of that determination, an iota, that is why they have the story of the squirrel trying to play a role in Rama's mission. Whether it really happened or not, it's really besides the point. But the moral of the story is fascinating. The essence of that is fascinating. What it means is, even a squirrel can play a role in the mission. You and I can play a role. Do we have to start a major hospital? Do we have to change? No. Just start with yourself, with your family, with the ones you love. That's good enough. That's good enough. But be determined to follow. That determination will start invoking the divine which is sleeping within us. Believe me, that's my experience, and I honestly believe this. If we are not determined, if we just touch and go, Swami says, don't use me as a pickle. You know, you're eating rice, you want taste? Oh, let's take a little bit of Sai Baba, a little bit of Ganesha, a little bit of Shirdi Baba. Ah, tasty food. This is what we are doing. We are using God as pickles. And that is why we run from one satsang to the other. We run from one speaker to the other. And that will go on. And before you realize, you would have spent 10 years, 500,000 satsangs, you will be exactly where you are. I think it's very important we realize this. And I don't mean to be audacious. I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings. But I think in a satsang, in a spiritual satsang, we need to be humble enough and honest enough to say, maybe this is true. Maybe this is true. What have I done in my last 40 years of life? I've done this satsang, I've done that puja, I've done everything. But why am I still here? Because I need to do homework. I need to set my discipline. I need to discriminate who I am and I need to be determined to follow that path. That determination which he had. Believe me, I mean, when we were all just sitting there with Iswarambai school, hardly I'm being read, a college being built and our classes started in Iswarambai school. We just barely started the college and Swami started talking about university. We were sitting there, we were very respectful, we heard what Swami said, but none of us, at least I can speak for myself, I didn't even for a second believe what he said. We said, yeah, someday, we always say, someday God will realization will come. It's not going to happen today. So that someday when Swami said university, we thought someday it will happen. I mean, the college has just started. Who dares even think of university? Right? Here was Swami talking about university. And guess what he asked us? You want degree in Venkateswara University or you want degree in Sathya University? We said, obviously, Sathya University. You want me to give the degrees? Yes, Swami, of course. But none of us for that moment even comprehended that it will truly happen. And guess what? 2 years later, it was declared a deemed university. How does that happen? One person, one determined person. We want to change the world. The greatest influences in the world, not caused by a group of people, caused by one person. It was one Gandhi. It was one Mother Teresa. It was one Swami Vivekananda. It was one Jesus. It was one Sai. Only one person. Only one person. That could be you. That could be me. That could be one of our kids. It could be. If we have these Ds in place. And I saw these Ds in action with Swami. That's why I take divinity for me comprises of these Ds. These Ds constantly inspire me, motivate me. All I need to think of these words. That's all. And every day I watch my definition of these words change. I watch the influence of these words in my life change. But it continues to inspire me. When you are determined about this, you get clarity of vision. And therefore you realize that all these are impermanent in nature. And Shankaracharya, again going back to him, tells us beautifully, Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam. harati nimesha kala sarvam. Is it playing? Why are you so proud of your youth, of your wealth, of your lifestyle and all that? It's all going to be a matter of minutes before they go away. And when somebody says a matter of minutes is fleeting, we somehow think that doesn't apply to us. But yet we say, "Ayo, how quickly time passed. 5 years just went like that." Guess what? 50 years will go like that. Unless we stop to realize, Ma kuru dhanajana yavana. Even the most intelligent, the most powerful man will be brought down to his knees in the place of wisdom. Swami gives a very beautiful story. He talks about this rich, cruel prince who visits a village, and he's out there exploiting people. So when he visits this village, he sees a young girl and he thinks, I have to marry that girl. So what he does, he comes up with a very crafty plan. He whispers something to the minister's ear, and the minister goes down, and they're standing on the river bank, and all the villagers have gathered to bow down to the prince and pay their taxes or whatever it is. And so they're all around, and then the prince whispers something to the minister's ear, and the minister goes somewhere down and picks up 2 pebbles. This beautiful, young, wise girl watches all this, was simply watching. She doesn't know she's going to be picked up by the prince. She's just watching, and she finds the minister pick up 2 black pebbles. And then the minister goes and places it in a table in front and covers it with some piece of cloth or something. Nobody is able to see that. He just says it's 2 pebbles. And the prince announces, "Here are 2 pebbles." And he calls upon this girl, "You, come here." He says, "Your family owes me this kind of money. Your father owes me this kind of money. A big debt. I will give you a chance and I will forgive your debt. There are 2 stones. One is white, one is black. You see there are black pebbles and white pebbles. It's inside this. You pick up the white pebble, you are free to go. If you pick up the black pebble, you're coming with me and I will free your father. If you don't pick up anything, then I will kill all of you." The reason why I'm saying this story is sometimes you feel at some position where there's really no choice in life. You feel like you're staring at a big brick wall. Like it's like the 18th mile in the marathon, which you come and you're like, "I can't do this anymore. I just can't." You just feel your end of your energy. End of your mind doesn't tell you. Nothing happens in life. Everything seems to be blank. So there is this girl in that position. The king says, she knows it's 2 black pebbles, but she dare not tell it, expose the king. Right? And she's given a choice. Pick up a white pebble, which doesn't exist. Pick up the white pebble, and I'll let your father go. Pick up the black pebble, and you coming with me to my castle, and I'll let your father go. Which is miserable for her. Her life is gone. And if you don't pick it, you're in trouble. So there are moments in life when there doesn't seem to be a solution. What was the solution? Only wisdom and divine wisdom can provide a solution. This is not a workshop, so I'm not going to expect you to raise your hands and answer questions. Swami said beautifully, the story is fascinating. He said this girl bowed down and prayed to Saraswati, went and put her hand inside the towel and picked up the stone. As she was going to the king, she dropped the stone down. And she said, "I'm sorry." She said, "Oh, I don't know which stone fell down. So if the other one is black, this must be white." The king didn't know what to do. So the minister exposed the other one, it was black. So they said, "Oh, she picked up the white one. Oh, gracious king, you forgive them." There is always a solution. That's why when we were talking to the wise yesterday also, we shared this concept of there is always an open door. There is always an open door. However difficult life may seem to you, however formidable your problems seem to you, there is always an open door. We habitually tend to focus on the closed ones. That's why we had Daya Karo and Kripa Karo songs. "Oh please, Swami, Bhikhari, I am Bhikhari, standing at your feet. I am Dukhiyari, standing here, help me. It's all about me, please, Swami. Me. The Swa is forgotten, it's all me about the Swami. So it's all me. I am miserable, I am poor, I am weak, I am tired. Swami, help me. That is a small part of it. The rest is all describing who I am. So we are so full of who we are, we put God towards the end. And God is patiently waiting. You know the picture of Panduranga, the meaning behind Vittala waiting, with hands on the hips. These are gods. Though I said we have 330 million gods, it's fascinating in our tradition, which has evolved thousands of years, how each one was symbolic in nature. It was meant to teach you a lesson. It's meant to inspire you with a lesson. He's waiting at the doorstep, right outside your door. He is waiting. For what? He's waiting for you to just open the door. He is waiting for you to open the door. Jesus said this too. Knock and the door shall be opened. We have to knock. But we are focusing on the closed doors. We are focusing on the problems in our life. We tend to, not all the time. We tend to focus in the problems in our life. And this has become... This has become a communal problem today. If you see the news, most of it is negative. So we are listening to negative things, we are focusing on negative things, and gossip is the tastiest stuff to our tongue, right? We love talking negative things about somebody else. It's just somehow it's like tastier than pickle, I guess. And then of course, as Sai devotees will say, he's a good man, but you know. We say everything evil, but they say, but he's a humble devotee, he's a nice devotee. We somehow convince ourselves that finally I said something good about him or her. We tend to focus on things which are negative. We love to make it more, we love to blow it out of proportion. So as an individual, we have that problem. As a society, we made that as a problem. And therefore, we are caught into this negative cycle. We have to learn to look for the solution. And that comes with determination. Be determined to allow God to speak through you and listen to His voice, and that happens. So let's listen to this beautiful sloka of Adi Shankara and then go into a bhajan. Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam arati nimesha kala sarvam. Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam arati nimesha kala sarvam. Maya mayamidam akhilam hitva Pravishat-viditva Brahmapadam Tvam Pravishat-viditva Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Shankara Mahadeva Madanantaka Shambho Shankara Maheshwara Shiva Shambho Shankara Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Shankara. Maulishwara Shiva Shambho Shankara. Madanantaka Shiva Shambho Shankara. Maheshwara Shiva Shambho Shankara. Maheshwara Shiva Shambho Shankara. Mahadeva Shiva Shambho Shankara.
when you are so determined in following in your path to realize God, and just because you're determined, don't be under the impression, because sometimes we carry this fear that, oh, if I follow God, what will happen to my family? What will happen to my job? Nothing will happen. They will all be there. But what will you be blessed with? This is a blessing that you get. Okay? You will be blessed with the next D. This is the D you cannot practice. It has to come to you. It has to be blessed to you. It has to be graced to you. Comes with grace. The D is detachment. How can I practice detachment? You can never practice detachment. Because the harder you try to detach, the more you'll get attached. If I tell you to close your eyes and think of everything, but please don't think of a camel. What's going to happen? The only animal you'll come to right in front of you is a camel. Correct? Okay, think of a camel, but don't think of the two-humped camel. Oh, wow, it's becoming more and more clearer. The more I try to avoid, the more I'm going to get. The very thing I try to avoid. That is why, even in a drama, Swami would not allow us to focus on something negative. I don't know if I mentioned this last time I was here at the retreat, but we did the Here and There drama for the Swami's 60th birthday, and some of us were the villains in that story. And so we smoked, and we played cards, and we had a bar. Swami would be very upset when you would come for the rehearsal, and he would go away, and then we would be wondering what happened. But finally, we did the play. Swami said, no, let them do it. Rowdies, let them do it. And then he gave us the name Rowdies. And it took almost 1.5 years or so for him to even come back and speak a word to us. Finally, somewhere, we had to go for PhD, and Swami said, okay, I'm taking them to Madras. These guys have not seen the city for a long time. So we said, good for us. Swami's taking us with him. So 2 or 3 of us went with Swami. In Madras, he broke the ice. And then he shared this. All those, this is how he worked with us. He made us introspect, cry, understand what is going on. Why is he not responding? What wrong did I do? So you're going inside trying to understand. He's completely ignoring you. And then he says, rowdies. Y'all were rowdies. How could you do that in my presence? We didn't understand. We thought it was a drama. What is the big thing in a drama? We're just acting. I want us to pay attention, because sometimes what we think is very fleeting, very simple, minor. Oh, it's only a small lie. What is there? Just tell them I'm not available. Tell them I'm busy. It's okay. These small little things matter to him most. And so we wondered, what is it? He said, how could there be smoke without a fire? If you acted so well, means there must be that vasanas inside you. So you must have had that desire to smoke and drink and dance and do all that villainy thing. And then he said, even in a drama, I don't want my students to act like that. I cannot see my students getting off the track, even in a drama, even in a play, as villains, because they were against it. We understood the concept of what it meant. But it was fascinating to see that he said, even in that few moments when you focus on negativity, it becomes part of you. Why do you even focus on negativity? Why do you even think of Ravana? Think of Rama. Don't describe how mad Ravana was or how bad he was. And the more you describe Ravana, how bad he was, how evil he was, that is becoming part of you. And science today is calling it mirror neurons. The rishis of of our Vedic tradition would have looked at them and said, duh, we told you. So, mirror neurons. What is mirror neurons? Oh, the brain does not distinguish what is happening out there versus what is happening in here. The brain doesn't know. So if you're watching violence on television, the brain is thinking there's violence taking place in the body, so it secretes the same harmful chemicals. That's why you don't watch violence. That's why you don't think about things which are not in alignment with your inner self. We need to have that understanding. We need to be determined to that. Once you go there, you are blessed with detachment. So detachment is not something will come to you because you want to be detached,
But because you're so focused here, everything starts falling off its own. You will love your children, but you will love them in a detached way. The lotus is from the pond. I'm always confused when I say this, off the pond, not in it, by off it or something, but you get the point. It grows from the dirt, from the slush, and yet it is untouched by the moss around it and everything around. It's so pure, so clean. Swami has proved us that in this era, you can be God. He has proved it. So we don't have an excuse to say, oh, Krishna did, that was 5,000 years ago. I wish there was a God today. He was here today. He has proved it. So there's no excuse for us. So we can be that lotus. And that sense of detachment will come when you will be you will be the best employee at work, you'll be the best spouse at home, you'll be the best parent to your child, you'll be the best devotee to God, yet there will be a sense of detachment. Why? Because your focus is in that divinity which is everywhere. So how will your family fall away because you're taking a spiritual path? Doesn't make sense. You'll pay more attention to your family. How will the work drop off because you're spiritual? Work will become your worship. How will you give up the sense of duty, whatever that sense means to you, duty as a wife, as a husband, as a father and mother? How will that sense of duty go away? Because this is divinity. You see yourself playing a role and yet you will be detached. How does that happen? Swami said, when you do a drama and you play a role, you cry like that person, you laugh like that person, but inside you know you're not that person. And therefore you act better. You cry better. And seeing you cry, others cry. Seeing you laugh, others laugh. But if you become one with this, then you're gone. You lost your dialogue. You'll forget everything. Because now you become a beggar. Are you really? Am I a beggar? No. As long as you know you're acting as a beggar, you do act very well. Correct? That sense of detachment will not take you away from your daily duties in life. But the detachment comes from within. And I think that is a blessing, because if you listen to this paragraph, Shankaracharya says the greatest happiness, sense of freedom comes from detachment. He says, I am satisfied with a corner to sleep in a temple. I am satisfied with the sky as my roof. What greater happiness can I get from this vairagya? I'm happy. If we have that courage to be happy, detachment is blessed to you. And only when you're detached, you can welcome God now, because you're out of the way. Then God comes in. Sura mandira taru moola nivasa. Mandira taru moola nivasa. Just give me a corner and a temple to sleep. I'm happy. Shayya bhutalam akilam vasaha. The skies expands, that's my roof. Sarva parigraha bhoga tyaga. Bhoga, all these pleasures I renounce. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. How much happiness can this sense of detachment give you? Sura mandira taru moola nivasa sarva bhutalam akhilam vasaha. Sura mandira taru moola nivasa shayya bhutalam akhilam vasaha sarva parigraha bhoga tyaga. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. Aao Gopala giridhari. Aao Gopala. Atmanivasi. हृदय निवासी आओ आओ आनंददाई आओ आओ आनंददाई आओ गोपाला गिरिधार. Swami's sense of detachment was so powerful, it was amazing. He could have somebody so close to him, talk to him almost every day. You would feel like, oh my gosh. And the next day, he would completely detached. It was fascinating. For an 8th grader to come from school and say, I have no family, I am taking on a mission in my life. How powerful must that detachment be for a young child who, you can think of your children, when they were in 8th, they're still attached to you. They're still hungry, they want their food, they want to sleep, they want comfort, and they want their mommy and daddy. And yet this kid was Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam, Dustara Bhavasagara Taranam. I have come with a mission in life. It's fascinating. But hold on to that. Don't come to that conclusion inside your head saying, yeah, he's God, he did it. Hold on to that thought. Don't. We resist that temptation. Simply, it's fun for me personally. I just want to share that with you. Resisting that temptation suddenly makes it real. What did I do when I was in my 8th grade? I don't want to go so far back in the past. But it kind of puts makes me think, what was I doing when I was 20? What was I doing when I was 30? What was I doing when I was 40? Look at what he's doing when he's 50. Look at what he did when he's 60. Look at what he did. How would that happen? How would that little child get that sense of detachment, that sense of determination, that power to discriminate, and that ability to be so disciplined in life that he carried through his mission to the very end in spite of all obstacles that was put in front of him? Obstacles never ended. You and I know that Swami's path was not a rosy path. Even today, there's just a handful of people, if you see the world's population, who actually believe in Swami, who are actually ready to accept him as the Guru. Am I right? And even in that handful, there are ups and downs. That's okay. That's part of spirituality. That's part of our relation with Swami. But in that small concept, and the rest of them are ready to put obstacles even now. So his life was never a rosy path. Nor were the lives of any saint or any sage or any realized master who walked the path. Look at the life of Jesus. From the day he decided to preach, from the day he decided to say, I am the messenger of God, I am the Son of God, I and my God are one, he only got closer to crucifixion. And yet, did any of these masters change their path? No. They kept their vision and were strong. I mean, it is so inspiring to just imagine a life like that. And it's inspiring just to appreciate that there is a possibility, a teeny weeny possibility that my life can also be there. That's all we need. That knowledge, that understanding, and the ability to be aware of the fact that there is a possibility that I can also be there. Wow. Can I be the king? Yes, you can. That is the example I think Swami set up in his life. And that's what inspired us as students. For those of us who went there, saw him day in and day out, watch his mission unfold step by step. It was fascinating to watch that sense of duty, discrimination, determination, and detachment. And the next D that Baba would give us, he gave us all these Ds, and Swami, these are some of Swami's favorites, is our favorite word, devotion. I think it's very important that, and I think there is an apparent contradiction if you want to analyze it a little more, and I'm putting this in your mind. It may not have crossed your mind as yet, but the more I think of it, sometimes I say, on the one side there's detachment, and the second side there is devotion. So on the one side you're giving up things, on the other side you're getting devoted. But because of your, so the question arises, what am I devoted to? Who am I devoted to? To me, devotion is just focus. Being completely focused. A devoted wife is completely focused on her husband. A devoted husband is completely focused on his family and his wife. A devotion to me is focus. Was Swami a great devotee? Absolutely. Was he devoted? Absolutely. Did we learn devotion from Swami? I did. Absolutely. What was he devoted to? He was devoted to his mission. He was completely devoted, completely focused on the fact, or in the fact that he was God. He never let that waver even for a second. I am God, you are God too. He kept saying that, and he believed that, he lived that. He was devoted to that concept. He lived, and so therefore the concept became him. When we become truly, you know why devotion is powerful? Because the more you start thinking of an object, just as we established, the more we think negative things, it becomes part of us. Guess what? Brahmavid, Brahmaiva bhavati. Think God, you become God. Right? God you think, God you are. Dust you think, dust you are. So now in the path of devotion, if I'm constantly thinking of God, guess what? One day He will become a part of me, unknowingly. My thoughts will reflect His thoughts. My words will reflect His words. My actions, my life, everything will become a reflection of the inner divinity. And that's why He said, I am but a resound, a reaction, and a reflection of you. You know, there was a time I was so attached to Swami, physically get pictures, go sit in the front, blah, blah, blah. It just went on and on and on. And Swami tried his best to get that out of my head. So one day he said, we were talking something, and every time Swami will say, hysteria, look at this pitchy fellow, mad fellow, he's all the time, try to put me off. But I was getting more and more excited. Oh yeah, Swami is telling something about me, let me go closer. This was a beautiful dialogue I remember with Swami. He asked me once, you are very thirsty, you're looking down at a pool of water, and you're about to drink the water. Suddenly you see a beautiful face in the water. Suppose you see my face in the water behind you. You're going to drink water. You see Swami's face behind you. What will you do? I'll say, Swami, I'll look up at Swami. Swami looked at me. He said, what you see here is a reflection. You don't go into the water, do you? No, Swami. Then why? This is only reflection. It's right in front of me. This is only reflection. Go inside. This is only reflection. And I find that very fascinating. Because 50 of us would sit with Baba, 50 of us would be around him at his feet, we would listen to what he talks, and then we would come back, and some of us as senior people go to different rooms in the nights to tell stories and tell what happened in the interview room and what Swami said. And guess what? 10 of us will have 10 different perspectives to share. How was that? Because his words were merely reactions or resound. His words were merely resound to what we needed to hear as individuals. Even today, though I'm talking and you're listening, or I'm listening to as I talk. But in this satsang, guess what? Each one of us is going to take home a different word, a different perspectives, something that stands out more than the others. I don't know. Why? Because everything that we see around in the world, and especially Swami's words, are merely resounds of the inner words that we want to hear. His actions, again, the same 20 people inside Swami's room come out, somebody says, Swami kept on looking at me and smiling. Others say, what? Looking at you? What do you think you are? You are Sunder, Swami is looking at me and talking. We have this chat. And that's why boys will never come out and talk to each other about what happened inside. Because they wouldn't want to make a fool of themselves. Probably we tried. Because, what, Swami talked to you? When? Yeah, I didn't see Swami looking at you also. No, he looked at me, he patted me and all. Didn't you see? No. Why? Because his actions are mere reactions. And this is not, while you get tempted to think it's a magic Swami is doing. No, it's not. It is honestly, each of us went there, we saw, what we wanted to see. His actions were merely reactions of our own. Somebody thought Swami was angry with him because he was guilty. Somebody thought Swami is very pleased with him because he has no guilt that day. It's very simple. Swami came to one of our bhajan singers one day because that bhajan singer sang Aparadha Kshama Karo, Anath Bandho Sai Prabhu. It's a bhajan. I don't know if you have heard of it. Anath Bandho Sai Prabhu, Aparadha Kshama Karo Sai Prabhu. Oh, beautiful bhajan, right? No boys will never sing that. Guess why? After this incident. Swami comes and this boy sings very beautifully. Swami comes the next day and he's a very good singer. Swami came to him next day. He said, yesterday's bhajan was very good, but if you make a mistake, you go to the bathroom and sing like that songs. For your mistake, why should everybody say Aparadha Kshama Karo? Why is everybody else asking forgiveness for one boy's mistake? You sing in the bathroom, I will hear. That is between you and me. Okay? So don't sing like this songs. Because he must have sat in the chair and watched half the crowd crying. He would have said, no, this is not what I want to see. I think it's a very important point. So, it's fascinating to understand that the concept of devotion is very powerful. Being focused in what you're doing. And we found that in Swami. He was completely focused on who he was, what he believed in. And therefore, devotion became a very powerful means. And that is why it is said, if you do want to get out of the cycle of birth and death, devotion is the only means. Because devotion helps focus, and that brings a laser pointedness in your attention. And then you become divine. Automatically, divinity becomes part of you. And that is why we have 1008 names. That's why we have 108 names. Guess why? There's no magic in the Sanskrit chanting. I don't believe there is any mystical, the way you chant, there is energy. I don't know. I like to bring spirituality down to earth. If you understand the meaning, that meaning you imbibe the quality. Swami is full of love. Swami is within me. I understand English. So when I say this, it's fascinating. Because I completely absorb the meaning inside. So when they had this Ashtotram, Prema Swarupaya Namaha. If I understand the meaning, I know embodiment of love. I'm just focusing on the qualities. The more I keep focusing on the qualities, the brain starts thinking those are my qualities. Deep within us, in the microscopic universe, in the world of electrons and protons, there is omnipresence, there is omnipotence. Time and space has no meaning. If you change an electron in one part of the world across galaxies away, another part of that electron will automatically change almost instantaneously. Scientists come out with all this and they say, oh my gosh, this is who we are? Then why aren't we experiencing it here? That is why in the Vedic traditions and the civilizations, how did they get to know the secrets of the cosmos? How did they know there was Saturn? How did they know there was Jupiter? There was no telescope then. How did they know there were planets out there? How did they even understand the circumference of the earth? How did they know trigonometry? How did they know geometry? How did they know the distance? In the Veda, the distance between the moon and the earth is very precise and almost equal, probably except for a few feet here and there, trust me, between what is discovered by modern science today. How did they know the existence of pineal gland? They called it a different name. We call it Agnya Chakra. But how did they know the existence of pineal gland? And the existence of the pineal gland only came about in 1960s when medicine said, what is this little thing doing there? Ooh, it's an important gland. So how did they know that? How did they know? Because they knew one thing with which everything else became known to them. And that one thing was, who am I? Once the I principle was understood, everything else became there. So, in the concept of that search, if we ascribe the ultimate tattva to Swami and constantly think of him, constantly meditate upon him, constantly listen to his stories, then guess what? It becomes part of us. Not as an event. Don't make a satsang an event in the sense, at the end of the event, people who organize it say, I'm so tired, thank God the event is over. No, everybody should be energized. Everyone. I don't care who it is, whether you're cooking food for the devotees or whether you're organizing it, putting it as in your chart or whether you're taping it for Facebook. I don't know what you're doing as part of the event. End of the day, you have to be energized because you should have also been in that spirit, imbibing the energy of God. Then it doesn't become an event, it becomes a satsang. Oh, do we have to go to this satsang every week? Then it's becoming an event. No, Swami wants it, let us do. So somehow manage it. Or they'll feel bad if I don't go. Now you're going there to please different people. unfortunately, we have got to watch. That's why I brought in discrimination. Be careful. As if it starts becoming an event and you want to find somebody just to make it a center activity, take a step back and say, let's pause. Is it just becoming a ritual? Or is it something we really want? We need to ask that. We need to ask that question. And then make every session, every satsang an inspiring one. That's why I say people get together, and if in that get together, if they decide to sing songs and if it turns into a satsang, let it happen. Otherwise, just let it be a get together. Don't plan to do a bhajan get together, and then the bhajan actually becomes a party. Because after the bhajan, oh my gosh, it's all let loose. Oh, your sari is good, your pant is good. Hey, what's up, man? What's up in football? Boom, 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 boom. Just minutes after the bhajan, all the vibrations are gone. It's a means to get together. So I look back and say, wow, this is what's happening in the Lalita Sahasranama group. Now it will become a Sai Bhajan group, Sai Mandali, whatever that will become in 20 years from now. I don't know. So watch, be careful. When we are devoted, there has to be an energy in that devotion. If you're missing that energy, step back and ask why. Am I just making it into another ritual? Or is every time I think of God, is it inspiring me? You need to understand that. That is why they had 108 names, so that one of those names will make sense to you. Somebody asked Swami, Swami, you say there is one name is okay. This was V.K. Narasimhan. These are old devotees, they dared tell Swami, speak to Swami, and Swami will encourage them to ask some question. Swami always likes somebody to challenge him with some questions. So V.K. Narasimhan said, Swami, you are saying one name is enough, but why do we have Sahasranama, why do we have Ashtotram, and why do we have 108 names and 1008 names and so many bhajans? Can't we sing the same bhajan every day? Can't we just chant one name every day? Swami asked, Swami beautifully, this is the flow of knowledge. I'm always amazed because he doesn't wait, let me think, he doesn't do that. Almost instantaneously he said, if I put one balloon there, and if I give you a small, this thing to shoot that balloon, I'll give you, how many bullets you think it will take to burst that balloon? One bullet. Here is 108 bullets. Keep trying. One of them will hit the balloon. Here is 1008 bullets. Keep trying. One of them will hit the balloon. That is the reason why we chant so many bhajans, because you take home. We all attend bhajan sessions. You go back humming a tune in a car. If there are four people will humming 4 different tunes. Don't do that, when a driver might get distracted. But why? Because each of us find a different thing that clicked with us that day. That is why we do so many bhajans. That is why, as center, as an organization, you open different doors. Open different doors to different people. Who knows which door people might enter? A mansion has many doors. Finally, they all come to the same mansion. How does it matter? Somebody wants to take and look at the landscape, a nice backyard, and enter from the back door. Or keep the back door open. Somebody wants a royal entrance from the front. Oh, I love the entrance. I want to go here. Keep the front door open. Somebody is shy. Hey, I'll come through the kitchen door. It's okay. Keep the kitchen door open. How does it matter? Somebody wants to drive his Rolls Royce right into your garage. Open the garage door. So Swami opened up his mansion for everyone. Somebody wanted miracles. Oh my gosh, miracles galore. Somebody wanted knowledge. Knowledge galore. Every aspect of Swami, he opened up his mansion. That's why people who are interested in miracles go to Swami. People who want knowledge go to Swami. People who just want a beautiful God to look at, there he is. Every aspect, every part of God was opened by him. That is why he is what he is. He did what he did. It's fascinating. So I love the concept of devotion, and that is the only one, I believe, that will help us go beyond the cycle of this constant birth and death. And when I say birth and death, I am not talking of the final birth and the final death. Because I really, honestly, today to you and in front of Swami's presence, I don't lie. I don't understand this concept of birth and death. That's a theory I'm borrowing if I say birth and death. But for me, what is birth and death is, every night I sleep, every morning I get up, I do exactly the same things and go to sleep. Again the next day, I go on with my rituals. Maybe there's slight change here and there, but you get my point. Our life has got into a cycle. Birth and death is every day in and out. Every night we sleep, we die. Every morning we get up, we are born again into the same self-image, into the same rut. Then we sleep. So birth and death to me is every time I sleep and every time I get up every day, can I get up one morning with a different perspective? Can I say, wow, Monday, I love it. Maybe the first Monday you might do it. Maybe tomorrow you might do it. Can I do that? Can every day be a miracle? Can every day I be born into a different level of consciousness and therefore break the cycle of birth and death? And only when we break the cycle of birth and death, we enter into the kingdom of God, the Vaikunta. Punarapi jananam Punarapi maranam Punarapi jananam Punarapi jananam Punarapi maranam Punarapi jananam Punarapi maranam Punarapi janani jatare shayanam Punarapi janani jatare shayanam Iha samsare bahudustare Iha samsare bahudustare Kripaya pare sai murare Kripaya pare sai murare Vaikuntapate Sai Hare Vaikuntapate. What? Thank God we have a wonderful tabla player. Vaijayanti Maladhare Vaikuntapate Sai Hare Hari Govinda Hari Gopala Hari Govinda Hari Gopal Hari Gopal Varagodavari Tira Vihari Tira Vihari Vaikuntapate Sai Hare. You enter the kingdom of God or Vaikunta only through the door of devotion. Because ultimately, even Shankaracharya, why would I say only? I think even Shankaracharya, after writing Shivoham, Nirvana Shatakam, Atma Shatakam and all that, finally he wrote Lalita Sahasranama, he wrote Saundarya Lahari. He said there's nothing like tasting the sugar instead of becoming the sugar. So, the path of devotion is the royal door that opens and you can just walk into the lap of God, demand things from divinity, sit on his lap and say, as you would with your, as a spoiled child, you can demand and God will give it to us. That's my firm belief. We learned about discipline. Then we learned discrimination. Then we learned about determination. Then we were blessed with an idea of detachment. We opened this royal door of devotion. And finally, the one Swami's, I heard this most from Swami was this D, duty. Duty. And the reason I bring duty in the last, because this, even if you don't remember any other D, this is probably the fundamental. What is our duty? I think when you open up this door of devotion and you form this bond of intense love with God, all this is due to love. We're disciplined because we love Him. We discriminate because we want to get the unnecessary things out of the way because we want to stay in that love. We're determined to follow this path of love to take us to Him. And this intense love for Him helps us getting detached to our other worldly desires. And therefore devotion springs within us and takes love to a whole different level, into the kingdom, into the Vaikuntha. Now you are in His presence. You're sitting at His feet. What is your duty? I think our duty then is to offer ourselves to God completely, unconditionally. I think it is a duty of every spiritual aspirant to come to this point of unconditional acceptance. Unconditional. Like I said, no falasrutis at the end of the Ashtotram. No promises are made to you. Nothing. Can I unconditionally love and accept God in my life? It's a very powerful word, unconditional. Though it's very easy to say, very easy to talk about, it's a very difficult, very practical means of attaining that. But that is the final stage when you're sitting at the feet of the Guru, the final moment of you and He entering into that relationship, final spiritual relationship, can only happen when you begin to unconditionally offer yourself to Him. When you begin to live in the moment unconditionally, not influenced by the past, no expectations of the future, take life as it comes to you. In that moment, be. In that moment, you will find that He is with you. He is with you. Swami lived in that moment. This is one of, if people ask, what is your faith in Swami? And they do, I tell them, I believe Swami lived in the moment. All the time. Once after our gymnastics practice or something, Swami called those coaches who were coaching us and me inside. And Swami said, oh, you did very good. You went did that palti. You ran and did that palti. He used to call it palti, but actually it's a flip. You run and jump over this thing and you flip in the air and land on the ground. So Swami is very fascinated by that. So he called me later on. He said, you did it very well. You eat well and all that. And we said, yes, Swami, will do all that. And then again he asked, so what do you think when you do that? This is how you would sneak in something very deep and profound. Just sneak in. He won't say, now be ready. I'm going to share something, secret of life. No, he won't do that. You just sneak it and go. And it's up to us if we gather that pearl or we're just going to let it go. So our antennas are always out there. And that's why every word boys would drink in with Swami. He said, what do you think, very innocently, what do you think when you do that palti? Palti chesnave, apudi em alochistunnavo. What do you think? I'm like, Swami, I think that I have to land on my feet, I come running, I focus. No, that all you think when you're running to it. Appudu, chestappudu, when you're doing that, flip. You're thinking all this when you're running towards it. I know that, yes. When you're doing the flip, what are you thinking? I paused for a second. That was the first time I realized I wasn't thinking anything. First of all, it's only a second you flip, but still, I wasn't thinking anything. So I kept quiet. Swami said, no thought. I said, yes, Swami, no thought. He said, that is why you are able to land on your feet. If you're thinking, you land on your nose. Very sweetly he said that. But he said, if you're thinking, you'll be afraid. When there's no thought, there is no fear. There is no expectation. There is no fear. There is no fear of failure. No expectation of to be successful, nothing. You're just there. And therefore, and of course Swami had to say this, he said, for you it is 1 second, for me it is 24/7. And then of course he turned and changed the whole topic. And all this doesn't happen. Then you go back and as you assimilate it, you'll be like, wow, that was awesome what Swami said. So it's very important for us to know that in that moment, and those moments of unconditionality can present itself to you at any point. Grace can come to you at any point. And just because at one moment you're unconditional doesn't mean you carry it through. And because you cannot carry it through for the rest of the 23 hours, it doesn't matter. Don't judge yourself. Enjoy it while it lasts. Correct? When you're in the theater and watching a movie, you're not saying, oh my gosh, after the movie I have to go. Oh my gosh, tomorrow there's work. Your spouse is going to say, shut up and watch the movie now. Enjoy this right now. We have to enjoy it right now as it comes. So there are moments in our lives, whether we are in a project doing a play, or whether we are writing something or discussing something beyond us, there are moments. We could be in the kitchen cutting vegetables or listening to a bhajan. Sometimes you are watching in the middle of an advertisement, a child's face or something you read. Something clicks and takes you to that zone where you're just in the moment. Enjoy that moment. That's a gift of God from you. That's a gift. That is a gift. That's a sign of grace. That is the grace, and only with that grace can we achieve that sense of unconditionality. And the liking of that moments creates that desire, and slowly we start gravitating towards that moments of unconditional acceptance. And that comes with energy, that comes with power. Yesterday I was telling the students about an incident, and I've got 10 minutes, so let me finish with this thought. And this was the last thought in this session anyway. We were in Swami's room, it was Dasara time, and Swami would distribute all clothes to people who come. Saris to the ladies, dhotis to the men, white clothes to the boys. And we boys would be hoping Swami would pick some of us. So there would be always 4 or 5 boys or 6 boys Swami would pick up and say, come upstairs and do all this work. And those days it was the old mandir where the bhajan hall is even now bhajans are conducted, and upstairs Swami would live, and there were small rooms around there. So, and most of them will be filled with things devotees would give. And for me personally, I found it very touching that though he had a big ashram, though there was a nearby garage where there was enough room above Swami's cars in those days, there were only 2 of them, and there was a section above, though there was enough room for him when devotees give, big boxes would come of clothes, of shoes, I don't know what all, whatever people thought they wanted to give, they would send it to Swami. Everything will be in Swami's mandir. He'll say, keep it here. No, keep Bapam, they've sent it from somewhere, keep it here. It was almost as if you would give something to your parent, and if the parent says, yeah, put it in the fridge, I'll see it later. Will you feel hurt? Will you feel happy? Yay, my picture is going to the fridge. You'll just say, what do you mean? He didn't even look at it. But if your dad says, yeah, keep it here, and he keeps it next to his bedside table, you'll feel happy, correct? If you're visiting your old father or mother and you say, oh, I bought this for you, you'll say, oh, thank you so much. Oh, my son got it for me, keep it here. It may not be useful to them at all, but they will like it. And that fact that they accepted it gives you joy. Swami it was amazing to see him that when people would send something, it has to be housed in his presence, in his divine presence. I don't know because he wanted I don't know, honestly. But I always found it very touching when he would give so much respect to that gift. No, devotees have sent it, keep it there. And we would have to open it carefully, even if it's old clothes. We'd have it opened carefully. Hey, you know how much people must have worked for this? They're sending it for Swami. It's not your property or my property. And so we had to treat it with respect. And therefore I was laughing when, the press, they said, oh, Baba, there were Nike shoes in Baba's room. I said, of course there would be. There would be probably more than that. But that's who Swami was. Anything you give him. It could be a piece of paper, it could be currency, it could be shoes, it could be anything. You give it to him, he'll say, Krapettu. And then he'll take it upstairs, keep it safe. And when it's time to come, he will give. It's fascinating. So, Dasara came, and so Swami said, come, and so I was in this, and this is again one of those moments when I got this great lesson, and that teaches me this idea of unconditionality and surrender to Bhagavan, because surrendering is final, ultimately allowing God to become part of your life. So he told me and another boy, just go to that room and get such a, it's a small box, go get it and come. So we went and opened that room door, and it was pretty dark inside. I told you, these are all windows which are all the time shut. So we went and we had small flashlights, so we put the flashlight on and we were watching where to go. This side, where is that box, Swami said. And we had to whisper literally, very quietly, because Swami would say, hey, why are you talking? So, I don't know, looking here and there with a flashlight, we didn't have no clue what to do. We can't go back and Swami will say, what is this? What is your education? We can't find a small box. So, few minutes passed, and then suddenly we heard this familiar, hey, tunna potulara. Hey, buffaloes. Swami used to always call us, in Telugu it's called Dunnapotulara, which means buffaloes. Hey, buffaloes. He would always say, you people eat and sleep and that's why you become fat like buffaloes and that's it. So he would always push us and call us buffaloes. And I believe in Telugu, it's a very endearing way of addressing somebody. So he would just say, hey, Dunnapotulara, em chestunaru? What are you doing? We froze. And he came and put on the switch. He knows it's his room. He put on the switch and the light came. And then he made this beautiful comment. He said, me chinna me flashlight, he used to call it torchlight. I also called it torchlight till I came to the US and I went shopping and I said, where can I find torches? And that guy looked at me and said, why do you want torches? I thought it was a torch. So, anyway, that was 10 years ago. I finally learned the word flashlight, thanks to Maya. Swami said, your silly flashlights, you see here, you cannot see here. You see here, you cannot see here. You see here, you cannot see here. Ikkada chuste, ikkada kanipistadu, ikkada chuste, ikkada emti మీ లైట్ నా లైట్ లో చూడండి. Let me finish this off and I'll explain to you in English. నా లైట్ లో చూడండి, he said and went off. What did he say? He said, your little silly flashlights, if you see here, you cannot see it here. If you point it here, you cannot see here. It's such a limited thing. He put on the light, he said, see in my light. You can see everything. See in my light. Na light lo chudandi, and he went off. I think that's a very powerful statement. Because when we think that the source of our energy, the source of our intellect, the source of is all a small flashlight, then that's all we can see. That's why we are constantly going to astrologers and saying, what is going to happen? Can I change my job tomorrow? No, Shani is moving into Mangal is moving somewhere. Oh, okay, what should I do? What should I not do? We are caught up in that because our flashlight is small and we are scared and we have a right to be. So I'm not saying don't go to astrologers. You have a right to be but all I'm telling is it probably because you're using a flashlight? You don't know. That's why we don't know. That's why we are constantly caught up in the past and the future. That's how it will be. When we stood in that room in the dark and searching for that box, we could see only one thing at a time. It would have taken a long, long time to find that box. And if we did, it would have been only by luck. Am I right? But when you allow God's light to come through you, then everything is seen. But obstacles don't go away. So the other boxes and the cobwebs in the room, and it was a very closed room. So all that didn't go away. Everything was exactly what it was. But in the light of God, I knew how to step over this box. I knew how to go there. I saw that box. The clarity of vision came, number one. Number two, the paths to that became clear. Everything became clear because God's light opened up a whole different vision. That is why when you surrender to Swami, don't think difficulties in life will go away. Surrender to Swami. He will take care of us. Somehow. So we are surrendering hoping something will happen to us. Good will happen to us. That's not surrender, is it? That's not surrender at all. That's bargaining with God. If you surrender, you say, you know what? Take it. Give me what you got. Give me what you got. It doesn't matter. Take it. This is my life. I'm putting it at your feet. There are times I teach a small trick to people. There are times in life when you are really at crossroads, you're confused or you're tired or you're depressed or something really goes wrong and your life is like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? At those moments, though it's very tempting to say, Swami, please help me, please guide me, just say, thank you. There is a lesson. I can't understand what it is. But thank you so much for giving me this special attention. I don't know what it is. And what do? You can cry yourself to sleep if you need to. There's no harm. Unconditionality doesn't mean you can't cry. Don't expect anything. If it's so painful in your life, just cry, go to sleep and just say, God, take over. And watch miracles unfold. There is a beautiful story I read in a newspaper a few years ago. There was this 5-year-old playing in Florida by the river, and an alligator got hold of him. And then the news story read as to how the mother was close by. The mother went on the other side and tugged this kid from the other side. Alligator was pulling the child from this side. And then the neighbor saw it and he came with a gun and shot the alligator. So that was the end. That was the story. And then the funny part of the story was when they asked the child, how are you feeling? He pointed to the mark on the foot, of course, where the alligator's teeth were. And they said, and then he pointed to the mark where his mother gripped him. And she said, she also hurt me. Her nails also hurt me. I found that very fascinating. Because sometimes when we are caught by the world and Baba is trying to help you, he leaves nail marks. And it hurts. But he is helping you to get out. And that is why we need to surrender to him. So don't think surrendering is something, oh my gosh, there won't be any pain. There will be pain. But that pain is given to you so that, once Swami told me when I had hair on my head, juttu pattukuntandra, gattiga pattukuntanu. It'll hurt you, but know it that I'm holding it. I'm giving a tough time with my bald head. But he said, I will hold your hair. When I hold it hard, it'll hurt you, but know it that I'm holding on. So when life, sometimes it feels like unending. You might pass through months and years of whatever you want. It doesn't matter. In the ultimate analysis, it's a very fraction of a time. Pain, when you're in pain, always time seems to go slow. That's only in our perception. There'll always be a day when you look back and you'll be grateful for that part of life when you felt His presence the most. It is at times of deepest pain, deepest tribulations, other times when you have to say thank you. Because you know He's holding your hand. You know He's trying to free you from that alligator. Guru Charanam Bhuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsarat Achirat Bhavamukta Guru Charanam Bhuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsarat Achirat Bhavamukta Sendriya Manasa Niyamadeham Sendriya Manasa Niyamadeham Drakshasi Nijardaya Sandeham Jaya Panduranga Prabhu Vithala Jagadodhara Hari Vithala Jaya Panduranga Prabhu Jagadodhara Hari Vithala Panduranga Vithala Pandarinatha Vithala Panduranga Vithala Panduranga Vithala Pandarinatha Vithala Shri Ramani Hridayantaranga Hridayantaranga Mangalakara Karunantaranga Mangalakara Ashrita Dina Janavanaranga Ashrita Dina Jagadodhara Hari Vithala Jagadodhara. Let me continue with the last couple of questions that was here and lead this and allow Swami to lead this session and this wonderful satsang that we are having today in His divine presence. The question was, when did you first come to know Swami? As I said,
when I finished, by the time I was in my 11th grade, my father got transferred to Haryana from Bombay. And since there were no good colleges in Haryana, they were concerned as to where I would continue my education. How would I get into a college in Bombay or elsewhere, and who would I stay with? I was, at that point, I had moved in to stay with my maternal uncle, my mother's brother, who was again a very powerful, spiritual person. And I was staying with him. And my family was, where do we put this guy in? What college do we put him in? Things like that. And as a youngster, I was interested in many things. And summer vacation came between my 11th and 12th grade. And I heard about a photographer who would help paint black and white pictures into color pictures. Those days, color photographs was a rarity. Only the rich and famous had color pictures. The others were stuck with black and white pictures. If you see your grandparents' pictures or their weddings and things like that, you will understand what I'm saying. And so there was this photographer there were specific colors which you could apply to the skin tone and get different colors done. So his name was Sathya. He was in Worli. And by then from Vileparle in Bombay, I had moved to Matunga, for those of you who are from Bombay. And so when I heard of this, I said, let me spend the summer, let me go learn painting from him. And when I went there, and I asked him, can I spend the summer? He said, of course you can. And he started teaching me to paint. And guess what? With every time he would give me a photograph, it would be a photograph of Swami. So all over his studio, it was this picture. At the first thing, I didn't ask who it was. But then when he started giving photographs after photographs of only orange to paint and skin tone, I said, is there any other color that I can paint? No, I was expecting landscapes and all that. But he kept on giving Swamis. And of course, there were a lot of these altar flowers where I could get some color, but I wanted more. And that got me questioning. I said, so finally, who is this? Is he in Bombay? Where is he? Our family had heard of Sai Baba. I hadn't at that point. I'd kind of heard of some Sai Baba, but we always assumed in Bombay Sai Baba means Shirdi Sai Baba. It was almost without a question, Sai Baba means Shirdi Sai Baba. So when he said this is Sai Baba, I said, no, this can't be Sai Baba. Sai Baba is the old man with the turban. He said, no, this is another Sai Baba in Puttaparthi and is a holy man. And so that got me intrigued. Though at the first reaction was, I don't want to do anything with holy men because I've already led my entire childhood literally among holy people and pujas and satsang. So I didn't want to ask him anything further. But then Sai Datta was kind of a mentor in the sense, since I was spending my summer with him and I was telling him I need to look for a college and this and that. He said, you know what, you seem to be so full of questions about the spirituality and all that. Maybe you should check this person out. I said, no, I know everything about Vedas and scriptures. I can chant mantras also if you want. He said, no, read this book. And he gave me Summer Showers in Vrindavan as a book. He said, just read it. This is about his teachings. So when I started reading, I found it was very, very, very close to what, as a youngster, I wanted to hear. And I never heard from anybody, God is love. Love is God. I said, oh my gosh. Can it be that simple? This is what I have always believed inside my heart. Nobody told me that. Because we were always taught to worship God, but not treat as God as love. It was always there's an element of fear around God. And so I said, God is love. Love is God. Thank you. God is love. Love is God. So that immediately triggered something within me. And as I started reading Swami's teachings, another thing which was very dear to my heart and nobody could answer was about religion and caste and all that thing. So when I opened the Swami's book and I read, there is only one religion of God. There is only one caste, the caste of humanity. There is only one language of the heart. There's only one God and He's omnipresent. My God, those were the moments where something deep within me started opening doors towards Swami. Like, oh my, I have to see this person. I just have to see this person. It was right there. And so Sai Datta said, I told you, you will like what he said. It's your kind of thinking. And here is another good news. He's starting a college in 1970. This was 1979. He said he's going to start a college in Puttaparthi. It's a brand new college. You're finishing your 12th grade. It's a perfect time for you to go and join there in June. So I jumped onto that idea. I said, yes, I want to do it. Because none of that entire summer course in Vrindavan, there was no puja to be performed thing from Swami. There was no chant this mantra on this particular day. Nothing which I was exposed to. It was completely down to earth, simple, and extremely profound. I said, I have to meet this person. So when we then I immediately started writing to my father in Haryana, and I said, listen, Dad, I can go. I didn't call him Dad, I call him Appa, whatever. But I said, listen, I have to go to Puttaparthi, and I believe there is a college, Sai Baba's college and all. So his first reaction was, no Sai Baba, nothing. I don't know what that type of college is. We don't want you to go there. But then I said, we have to do that. I mean, that's a place I want to be. And my uncle kind of supported me in a big way. So he said, go, good for it. Good for you, go. If you want to seek more about God and spirituality, that is nice. And you can study also at the same time. By then there was a smaller college in Whitefield, which is not a university or anything. But then the word was that it was a good disciplined place. There's no theaters close by. Kids won't get spoiled, kind of a thing. So my uncle made some enquiries, and then he wrote to my dad saying, I think it's worth, if he wants to go, let him try. They had almost kind of let him try. 1 or 2 months he might come back, and then we'll see what to do with him, kind of a thing. But then the second thing came was summer course. So is there any way that you can go and at least see if you like that place? You're talking about you're from Bombay, you're used to city life, that is some village, we don't know the language, that Telugu, we have no idea what it is, where it is, what is this ashram. So my parents were very concerned, where are we going to send this guy to? And therefore, then Sai Datta said, there is a summer course. Every year, there's a group of youngsters go from different states to Puttaparthi. You can be part of that. So April, May, go spend the time there. Or May, I guess. May, go spend the whole month there. See Sai Baba, listen to him, spend the time. And then you decide, if you don't want, come back and join some other college here, or you decide where you want to go. I thought that was even brilliant. So I wrote, that was a clinching thing with my parents. They said, okay, 1 month he can go and try. Summer vacation anyway, they don't know what to do with me. So they said, fine, we'll send him there. Let him attend the summer course, and then he can come back and we'll see what to do. They were almost sure once he goes and stays 2 weeks, he's going to come back. Okay, nobody really took me seriously then that I wanted to go and study here. But for me, reading Swami's teaching was the moment I realized I need to get more out of this person. He's talking exactly my language, what I want to hear. So that's why I said, though the seeds of spirituality was planted in me when I was a child, I could listen to bhajans, I can totally relate to them. Because I used to sit when Haridas and others would give discourses on Vitthala. And so even now when I hear a Vitthala song, something happens to me deep inside. It just elevates me. But that's all because as a child I used to enjoy music. So I grew up in that. Though my fundamental spiritual questions were not answered, I used to enjoy and be a part of it. And that's why spirituality became a very important part of my life that led me to Swami. And so I look back to my parents and thank them for that upbringing. And that's why when we talk about SSC and kids, there is no early age, really, there's no age too early to start spirituality. Just take them along. Even if they're sleeping in your lap, believe me, at some level they're absorbing a certain amount of vibrations. And these children are blessed because today they have you as parents and you're directly educating them in the umbrella of Swami's teachings. That's fascinating. And immediately their outlook, their perspectives are far more deeper than what I was when I compare them. I compare my age to them, go back in time. Because I spent a whole day yesterday. Ani and I did a fascinating workshop with the YAs, and there were age groups from 16 to 35 or so. And I thought, look at this, 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds, look at them talking about the inner core, the core value system. My God, they're already there. So Swami has already caused a different level of consciousness among our youngsters. So it's a great fortune that you are bringing your kids to that. So don't worry if your child just sleeps off and he's not singing bhajans. Let him sleep. At some level they're imbibing this, and at some level they will question it and allow them to question, and then later on they will reconcile it in their own way. Because truth is everybody's path. They will reconcile to it. So I hadn't had all that information. Summer course was the thing for me. So here comes my first spiritual experience, if you will, and that leads to this concept of this prayer thing I was telling you. What happened in summer course? Until then, I used to make fun of my uncle doing puja and rituals and what is this you're doing? That doesn't make sense at all. And, the 16 and 18-year-olds know everything. And there's a nice quote, by the way. At 18 and 20, we know everything. At 40, we doubt everything. Right? And at 80, we finally realize we really didn't know anything at all. There's another twist to it I said at 80, you don't care what others think about you. I'm sorry, at 20, you don't care what others think about you. Correct? I know everything. I don't care. This is me, Mom. At 40, you're worried about what others think about you. At 80, you will realize others were not thinking about you at all. So we go through life. Many of us just spend our entire life with certain assumptions, and then we find, oh my gosh, these assumptions really didn't matter. Nobody has time to really think about somebody else except for 1 or 2 days. So summer course for me was a great opening into my own spirituality. And that was how the first lesson of humility I learned with Swami. Okay? And I want to put that out there because this is how the real Sadguru guides you. It's fascinating when I look back and understand how at every level, and I'm sure when I tell my story, you draw a kind of a parallel to your own little awakenings, and that's how we kind of tune into each other in this. So the summer course was at a particular date, and I realized that my board exams, my 12th grade exams, are also ending on the same day as the summer course exam. Summer course exam was set in Maharashtra. The youth in Maharashtra will meet in Bombay at a particular place on so-and-so date. They'll write this exam from 2 to 3 in the afternoon. The exam is simply based on simple questions. They wanted to make sure you know something about Ramayana, who's Rama, who's Sita, who's Krishna, who's Radha, and all that basic questions. And then do you know English? So basic things, so that they want to make sure that this guy is going to ashram. At least they should know some value system, something. So that was the exam, very simple, straightforward. I was not concerned about the exam, but what concerned me was, it is at 2 o'clock, my exam is finishing here at 12:30, I have to finish that was my last exam of the board, in 12th. At our generation, everything revolved around the 12th grade and 10th grade. And your life is made or broken by that exams. And so what happened, I said, okay, as soon as I finish, I'll rush for the exam. And what happened was, I finished my exam, I tried to make it for that summer course exam, I was late. I couldn't write that exam. And I was told, I'm sorry, you couldn't write the exam, so next year you can come, bacha, come next year, whatever, agle saal aao. So I said, no, agle saal, I wanted to go this year. I'm a very adamant guy. If I believe in something, I want to just go after it. So I said, no, there is no way, I have to do it this year. And they said, sorry, this is state level. So I said, no, there has to be some way. So I asked the little Sai centers which were there then, and I asked them, what do you do? Who does organizes all this and all that? They said, no, it's all state president, Java, and all these people do it. So you can't just, I said, no, I'll go meet him. I'll tell him, 12th standard, you can't do like this, same exam, same day. You should have thought about, what about 12th standard kids? So I go right up to, in the fort area, there was his office. I find out where his office is. I walk in right into his office with that chappal and half shorts and t-shirt. And I go to the secretary and say, I want to meet him, Mr. Java. This is about Sai Baba thing. I want to meet him. And they said, do you have an appointment? Obviously, she was just laughing it off. Like, what? You have an appointment? He said, no, I want to meet him. I want to talk to him because, and I started explaining what my problem is. She said, no, wait, hang on. You just can't meet somebody like that. And just as she was talking to me, the door opened and Mr. Java walked out with the secretary or whatever, they were walking out. And I said, okay, he's there. So I ran up to him and I said, excuse me, uncle, excuse me. He stopped. He didn't know what to do now. This kid is right in the tracks. I said, excuse me, uncle, this is what has happened. I'm in the 12th grade. You organized the exam for summer course for Vrindavan. And I had my exam on the same day. You should have had it one day before or later, 1 week later, because I couldn't write the exam. So is it possible for me to write that exam again? I had to finish it fast because already somebody was pulling my hand out. He said, wait. Unfortunately, beta, I can't do anything about it. It is all over. Next time you try. And he walked off. He obviously didn't have time. And his secretary was, beta, ja. Oh, beta, ja. I can never forget that. I felt so bad. Ja beta, good boy. Jao, gar jao, he said. I felt so bad. I was like, don't do that to me. But anyway, I came home very disappointed that night. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I just found this. I found an answer. This is the best way to convince my parents finally to send me there. And now it doesn't seem to be a possibility. I had to do it. So I came to my uncle and said, what do I do? What do I do? Give me something. I tried this state president level. Now what do I do? My uncle said, I don't know anything other than puja. You told me. What do you want me to do? I said, is there any puja? Is there any magical way of doing it? So now this is my lesson. The very things I was making fun of is now I'm ready to try that also. So is there any puja? Can you teach me something? So my uncle said, okay, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if you want to do it or not. He's very cool, very laid back. And he said, Adi Shankara, there is Saundilya Lahari, there is a first sloka. And it is said in the Falasruti, again I go back to the Falasruti because everything has, if you do this, something good to happen to you. They said if you do this 12 times, if you do 1,000 times a day for 12 days, and all you have to offer is boiled rice and ghee to Devi, your wish, any wish you have will be fulfilled. So I said, you think I should try this? He said, yes. If you want to try, you try, if you think that will work for you. So here I am, after all this criticism and everything, sitting, putting ghee in one boiled rice, putting in front, staring at this picture of Devi. I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm ready to try. That's why I said and ended up the session saying, it doesn't matter what you do. It's the intention behind it that draws the divinity. So at that point, I was like, let me chant. And that first day, and the sloka is pretty long. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yedi Bhavati Shaktaha Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakala Kushala Spanditumapi Atastva Maradhyam Harihara Virinchadipyapi Pranantum Sotumva Katamakrata Punniha Prabhavati. 1,000 times. So I was like, okay. I did the first 100, then I went to second, third. I finished 1,000 times the first day and my mouth was almost, stuck. But then I said, no, I have to do it. Let's just give it a try. If he is as powerful as people claim, and if this works, let's see how it gels together. So I finished the 12 days of chanting. Somehow I managed it. I stuck to it. I said, I won't miss it, skip it even a single day. I finished 12 days. Then I came to my uncle and said, okay, now what? What do I do? He said, what do you mean, what do you do? I finished 12 days. What do you think is going to happen? He said, don't ask me. He said, but you said our wish will get fulfilled. How does it get fulfilled? I remember these dialogues with my uncle. I probably drove him nuts. I called my mother and said, please take him back home. He said, Sunder, when you pray and leave it to God. Let us see what happens. I said, no, I have to get this answer. Time is running out. We have to book tickets. I have to be part of this. I was so concerned. That was my first attempt in prayer. And so I prayed everything. I did everything I did for prayer. First of all the human effort was done. Then all this so-called prayer was done. And now I'm sitting in Bombay, no clue about who Swami is, what he stands for, nothing at all. I just said, I want to go there, that's all. And so there was this time, after a week, I realized I can't do anything more. I just can't do anything more. Because I went to the state president, he just kind of couldn't do anything, obviously. And I did this prayer, nothing seems to work. And I dropped it then. I said, okay. There's nothing I could do. I was blank. State of blank was there during that time. Couple of days passed and a door knocked. I opened the door and I remember this Sevadal at that time. Again, another mentor. I had a lot of mentors because I'd go and cry on their shoulders. How do I go to Puttaparthi? How do I go to Vrindavan? He said, Sunder, I have good news for you. What is the good news? He said, the state has organized another exam for summer course for students who could not attend the first time. To me, that was nothing short of a miracle. Okay? But at that point, I was excited. I went, wrote the exam, got selected immediately to be part 12 boys, 12 girls, got selected. So that was my first lesson of, oh my God, prayers are heard. To me, that was the first seed of faith. That's why I always go back to your experience, because that is more stronger than anybody else's experience. So to me, at that level of complete ignorance, if you will, whatever I did, it reached somewhere and prayer was answered. Somehow it's answered. However difficult or unsurmountable the solution may look, it will get answered. And that was my first experience. And it didn't happen when I was praying for it. 12 days I was like, give me, what am I chanting? I have no clue, but I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to go to meet the Sai Baba. Nothing happened. When I didn't know what to do, there was an essence of silence inside me, simply because there was no craving, there was no asking. I gave up because I didn't know what to do. It materialized itself automatically. And I mention that because many years later, the same experiment or the same instance happened, and I'll come to that in a little bit. But I got into Puttaparthi, I got into summer course, attended the summer course, and I remember the first question I asked that time to Swami in a group interview. Swami said, questions, I raised my hand. Of course, I want to talk to Sai Baba. So I raised my hand and I said, why is this ego such a big problem? I should have said that in the YA question and answer. And it came to me in my mind because I asked this question to Swami, why is the ego such a big problem? Swami said, why? What big ego? Like, Swami, ego? So Baba said, oh, where are you from? He asked. Bombay. Where is Bombay? Maharashtra. Where is Maharashtra? India. This is going back and forth. Where is Maharashtra? In India. Where is India? Asia. Where is Asia? Earth. Where is Earth? Solar system. Where is solar system? Milky Way. Where is Milky Way? Big galaxy. In this galaxy, Milky Way, planets, Earth, Asia, country, India, Maharashtra, Bombay, one little boy. Where is place for ego? The way Swami brought it, I was like, I wanted to disappear into the ground. He made it sound like, what are you thinking? Who do you think you are? You don't even exist in this vast cosmic play of, the way he explained it. And I'm sure you would have experienced, look at this. Let's think of it. We think the world revolves around us. We think, oh my gosh, everything happens to me. Oh, wow. We make a big deal. We are nobodies. We don't even exist. In the vast cosmos, we could be just a wisp. We are a dream, probably, in the mind of God. And there was some a gentleman, a brother came and gave me this question as, what is the explanation for death? As Swami elaborated. I don't know if Swami elaborated particularly on death, at least I don't recall it, but this is what I got from Swami, that this death and birth itself is an illusion, it's in your mind. It doesn't really happen. You are not born, you don't die. And he refers to the Gita, but if you really look at it, I am not born, I don't die. What dies? My identity with the body dies. My identity with the mind dies. My identity with my other senses, all that dies with the body. But I was never the body. I'm never the body. So when the body drops and when you change clothes, you don't say I'm dying. And your spouse or somebody close, you don't cry. Please don't change the clothes, please. Wear the same. I can't see you change clothes. Nobody cries. But yet why is it that when we drop our body, we feel the separation? That is the level, the depth of identification we have with our body. And therefore there is no death. There is no birth. So the way Swami explained suddenly, he said, what is ego? Where do you even exist? You don't even exist. You imagine you're existing. You don't even exist. It is all God which exists. So I was so thrilled with that answer. I was like, this is the guy I want to be with. This is awesome. This is perfect. I was so excited, I started writing, postcards to my father. I said, I love it, I want to be here and all. All his reply was, wait till your marks come, then we'll decide. Wait till your report card comes, then we'll decide. Because he knows my report card is not going to be great. It's never very great until then. So, summer course got over, I went to Puttaparthi, and it was 1 week later, the college is going to begin, and my report card had come, and I took it to the principal. Then Mr. Shastri was there, very sweet gentleman. I told him, excuse me, Sairam sir, I put nice vibhuti and all, went up to him, very impressed, to impress him. And I said, I need admission. He said, sure, tell me. Because those days you could walk up, at least the first 2 years I think, we could walk up, tell them I want admission, they'll give you a small form to fill. You fill, attach your report card, they'll see your report card and say, okay, admitted, one stamp. So simple. So I went to him and said, I want admission. He said, okay, here's the admission form. What class? BCom. Okay, show me your report card. He saw me. He looked at me. He saw the report card. He looked at me. He said, my son, I think you're better off with arts. Take Bachelor of Arts. My father had specifically, they had already decided. My parents decided what I have to do. So you're not good in math or science, you take commerce. So commerce was my background. And my father said, I'm an accountant, I have done commerce, you also study commerce only. That is best for you. I don't mean math and science and all in our family, nobody has done, no need. So everybody decided my fate. And that's okay, I had no regrets. But when he told me do arts, I told him, no, I have to do commerce. Because my father is going to be very angry with me, I have to do commerce. He won't let me be here. He said, but look at your marks. And of course I looked at it, it was really bad. It was like a C minus or something. It was a 40, those days it was more in percentages. So you needed a 65, 70% to get into Baba's college. Even the very first college he started, Swami set the standard right there. Because guys like me won't come in. And I had 48%, nowhere close to that. And I wanted to get into commerce. They said the best I can do is give you arts, bachelor in arts. So I said, no, that won't work. And therefore, I kept going to him every day, and he kept avoiding me after a couple of days. He said, oh, that boy is coming. He started talking to somebody else. I knew it's not working. It's not working. And then June 6th came, and the college started, and a week had passed, and my father had already sent me the return tickets to come back. He said, I told you, study hard. Very few letters, very few words. I told you, study hard, you did not. Come back, we'll find a college for you. That's all. I said, oh my gosh, I had to go back and listen to all this, and I so badly wanted to be here. By then, being in city and coming to Puttaparthi and enjoying, suddenly there were hills, mountains, it was such a beautiful place. I just fell in love with the place. That was another thing I discovered, my love for nature was, that's the first time I said, wow, this is great. And I simply loved it. I loved the hills, I loved the Vatavriksha there, I loved all that. Just everything was so peaceful. And then every book and every teaching of Swami was exactly what I wanted to listen to. So I was kind of bonding in beautifully with that place, and this came up. And therefore, I said, I have to get in, but my father sent his ticket. I had no way to get into Swami. And those days, darshans were happening. I was sitting, and I was trying to give letters to Swami, or I don't remember exactly what I was trying to do, but there was no way I could just ask Swami directly. If I could, I would have. I couldn't. There were no token systems or nothing then. The 1 or 2 days before I had to leave, I got very upset. I was very angry with Swami. I said, this is it. I have to go back. And if I go back, then it's over. So I took a pen and paper and wrote a long letter to Swami. Very angry letter. I said, I wanted God, and I think I wanted a guru. I wanted to understand God. And I thought you were this, and you were that. But I am going back. Means you really don't have any powers to understand. You don't have any spiritual powers. This is all people's imagination, just like they imagined Krishna, Rama, everything. I just wrote everything that at that point I carried with me. And I said, I'm giving this letter to you, and let's go. I'm going back. And I decided I'm going to give it to him, look into his face, give it to him and go. Not just post it somewhere and, So I made sure I got the first line. That afternoon, there was an arch, ladies on this side, gents on this side. I was right, the first one here. So when Swami crosses, he has to see me, handing out this letter. He came for darshan, he crossed the ladies' side, and he comes to me, and I had this letter in my hand. He says, Kya hai? So I immediately kneeled down with the letter in my hand. Swami admission. I didn't expect him to ask me. It was all sudden. I wanted to just give him this letter and say bye. I was angry that time. It's not going to work anyway. I'm going off tomorrow. So I had given up completely. The second time I gave up something happened. Okay, this is the second time. I just said, I'll give the letter and walk off. So I'm sitting there and Swami asked, Kya hai? I knelt down. Swami admission. And my father's voice from inside, be calm. So I was like, be calm, Swami, be calm. I have to make that clear too, right? So literally I yelled to Swami, Swami, admission, Swami, be calm, admission. So Swami took his fingers, put it on an envelope like this, because he wanted to take. So he held the envelope like this. And he said, Kya? Be calm, Swami, be calm. Be calm? Be calm. Be calm. And the only thing I remember was that, and all the devotees laughing, just as you laughed like this. And I didn't, it doesn't matter to me. I'm like, Swami is telling me something. Be calm. Okay, whatever. What about admission? And then Swami didn't take the envelope. He left it. and continued his darshan. But before that, he spoke to me, then he turned around, Mr. Principal Sastri was sitting there, he looked at him, and he did like something like this. And he walked off. And after the darshan, I ran to the principal. I said, did you see? He said, yes, I saw. Be calm. I told Swami, yes, don't worry. Come tomorrow, I'll give you admission. I think back at that moment. It's a very powerful moment because I could have come back and been a complete disbeliever for the rest of my life, or continued, I don't know what I would have done. Or I had this great opportunity, and the only thing that made it happen was him. The only person who made it happen was him. Again, another point where I tried the principle, I tried pleasing, I tried everything physically, humanly possible, and at the point of giving up, he comes and says, "Kya hai? Be calm." So, that is how I got into Swami's college. And then one thing led to the other. Then I wanted to know more about him. Those simple experiences, but the experience of, wow, when you need him most, he's there. It's not, he pushes you to the edge, believe me. And today, 30 years down the line, or whatever, how many ever years, I know this for sure, he pushes you to the edge sometimes in life. But he never lets you go. One thing led to the other, and I got to see Swami, learn from him, watch him, get inspired from him, and understand more and more and more of God. Some of these boys are here. We used to spend late nights just sitting and talking about Swami, philosophy, deep spirituality. That was amazing time of introspection, of meditation, of experimenting with spiritual paths, of finding out what we want to do, trying to get Swami's attention. That was a fascinating time we just had, because there was no TV, no distraction, no girls to worry about, no choice anyway, nothing. We are just a bunch of guys put in a hostel, study, and goes to Swami. Because Swami represented something far beyond who we are. Just his presence was enough to ask myself, what am I doing? What is this study? What is that? And then he'll come and give a beautiful discourse and go, and then suddenly again your mind goes up there. So you have this and that. That's just nothing else. Sports and all that we introduced a little later. First 3 years or 4 years, I don't think there was even sports. So we'll go for darshan, sit, listen. And those days was so nice because there were very few of us, and we had a free period, or, when I say free period, what I mean is your classes start, and then one class the teachers not come, and you got like 1 hour, 15 minutes to spare. The mandir is like 10 minutes away, and Swami is not retired upstairs. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. All of us will say, let's go to the mandir. And we'll go to the mandir, and Swami will say, what? No class? Okay, come on, let's go inside. And he'll call us into his room and sit and start talking. And then suddenly he'll say, oh, next class, go, otherwise your principal will get angry. So we'll rush back to the class. Those days are fascinating. They didn't last very long, but they were very, very, very simple. And I saw how easily accessible Sai Baba was. And Swami would come to our classes and listen to the lectures. He will come and go right to the back, and he'll tell the boys, don't look back, all look straight at the teacher. And the poor teacher will have to explain economics. He'll be like, oh, what do I do? It was very, very nice. It was as if Swami was very curious about how this thing is starting off. How is the college looking? He used to come almost every day to college, just as he would when he started the hospital. Go to hospital. And that's what fascinates me about Swami's divinity, is that he establishes a big mission. He doesn't sit back and say, you do this, you do that, you do that. He rolls up his sleeve and he is ready to carry out this mission. That was the energy behind him. If given the chance, he would have been the first one doing the operation on November 22nd. He said, it has to start. The president was delayed. Swami went and cut the ribbon and went ahead and inaugurated the hospital. He came much later. Can you believe it? It was amazing. This has to be done. That's it, done. So he was so excited, so energetic, so immersed in his mission that every little thing mattered. Every little building that is built in Prashant Nilayam, he would go inspect. Where is the progress? What's happening? It amazes me, even later when the alumni meet was going on, we saw emails saying, Swami has personally gone and seen the shed where boys are going to stay.
So please come and all that. That touched me. I said, even this, at this time, he's in a wheelchair, he struggles to get into a car. He says, let me go and see, where are the boys going to stay? Let me go and see it. Why would somebody be so anxious, so simple at heart? And yet, not why, I mean, how can someone be so simple and yet be so divine? Ano Raniyan Mahato Mahiyan. I am in the biggest of the big, I am in the smallest of the small. Not in some mystical sense of the term, in his actions were like that, his thoughts were like that. He could think of the biggest project, yet he would pay attention to the smallest detail. Hey, why are you moving? Is your back hurting? He will have time to ask that even in the middle of a birthday celebration. He'll have time to pay attention to a boy's, if that boy needed attention at that time. And not because that boy was a VIP or nothing like that. Just the fact that he could do that amazed me, continues to amaze me till the last day of his life. When Swami would have, I don't know if he did that many years, but I remember one session when he was given a bunch of application forms for admission. He said, show me. You know, the registrar just takes the bunch, Swami, all the applications are ready. We have scrutinized the applications and these are the boys who are going to be admitted. Swami would have said, you know, I would have expected Swami to say, yeah, good, take it on. It's just a bunch of papers with passport-sized pictures. No, he said, bring it here. He puts it on his lap. Now there are about 200 applications. This is many years later. He's going through each one. Where is he from? Delhi. Oh, where is he from? Here. Where is he? Each one, he'll look, he'll turn. He went on like 45 minutes, we are waiting. And Swami is talking to himself or something, but he's going through each and every application. Manchidi, he'll say. And I remember I was at a center when one of the center person also told me a similar thing. He was organizing a function or something. He had a list of names. He gave it to Swami. Swami went, the list of names was just printed on the paper. I believe Swami kept it in his lap. And he went like this through each name. And he said, I was just waiting patiently. The golf cart was there and Swami was sitting and going through each name. How does one do that? It's fascinating. It's mind-blowing because how many times have we caught ourselves being too engaged in a project and too busy to take care of something? Yeah, I'm too busy. Please take care of the kid. I don't have time today. I'm too busy. Can you take our dog for a walk? I do that so many times. Can I do this and this? Yes, you can. But that is being in the moment. That is constantly being in the moment. Being completely aware of everything. That is what made him so divine. So magnetic in his personality. That is why he could walk out of the huge Purnachandra auditorium. He could walk out and 50,000 people there would be a hush in the crowd and the crowd will become silent. There would be nobody standing there and saying, Baba is coming, silence, please, Baba is coming, silence. I was used to all that in other temples and mandirs. But here, Swami would just have to step out. That's it. There will be a hush. Nobody will move. Right? How many of us just did that? And we would just sit there. How did he have that power? And he turns around and says, that divinity is within you too. I remember this very clearly one evening when we sat and Swami said, I can cut my hand, blood will come out. I can say, stop, go back, it will go back. I have the willpower. We said, of course you have. We didn't say, we thought like that, of course. But Swami said, but you can also do it. You can also do it. You don't have that willpower. That is a difference. You don't have that willpower. That's why I put that D's out there, because that determination, that devotion, it's all a sign of that willpower exhibiting its will. It's fascinating. And thus, every day in the presence of this wonderful master, this Sadguru, that's why I call him Sadguru. I like to call him Sadguru. If you ask me, is he a Purna avatar, is he a God, I would say I don't know. Because I don't know the meaning of these things. Even today, I'm trying to discover it. I'm in the path. I'm trying to understand what avatar means, what God means. I'm trying to understand. But I know he's my Sadguru. He is my Guru who's pointing me to the truth. If there is any God on earth, I would rather believe him than any other God. If there's any Guru on earth, I would rather have him any day than anybody else. Because I've seen him be so mysterious, so powerful, so enchanting, and so loving, that I've never come across anybody. I can't even imagine I can come across somebody else who can be as powerful as Swami, as magnanimous as Swami, as beautiful, as benevolent as Swami, as selfless as Swami. Believe me, that selflessness was amazing. He could be with you and you will think Swami is all about you. The next minute,
You'll be like, is this a Swami who just spoke to me a few minutes ago? He'll be somebody else's. That selflessness, that complete sense of detachment was very powerful. So the concept of prayer, the reason why I hold that very dear to my heart is because the third and the final lesson I learned in that prayer, and then that's when I learned this is why he listens to my prayer, and this is why he doesn't listen to my prayer. And that was when he came into the hostel once and gave a beautiful discourse on Soham Pranayama. And I said, oh great, let me practice Soham Pranayama. So if he says something, I'll immediately grab it. Anything about yoga, pranayama, breathing, I'll be like all over the place. And I practiced Soham, and I said 3 days later, my class is going to be first for darshan, so I will practice this and be first, and I'll see if Swami indicates like, you practice what I said, or something like that. I wanted him to do that. And those days we used to constantly talk about doing sadhana, and did Swami give you some indication of your sadhana? Some weird things we had, Many times we think we are doing things to please God. He doesn't need to be pleased. He's the embodiment of pleasure himself. We do it for our own understanding. But as youngsters, we didn't know that. I didn't know this at the time. Anyway, I'm practicing Soham. I said 3 days later, I'm going for darshan. I'll see if Swami gives me some indication. So I practiced 3 days with all my heart and soul. I go for darshan. Said, make sure I sit first in the line, just next to the birthday boy. Darshan is over, I have to go to the bhajan, because by then I was a bhajan singer. So I said, only one darshan. But now I'm going to the darshan thinking, I've done this, now I'm not going to just, Swami comes and stands, I'm not going to just touch his feet and thinking I got some indication. I want him to give me something mind-blowing. So I said, no, Swami, just don't look at me. I had seen audacity, right? You take him for granted. We took our bodies for granted, our breath for granted. You stay with Swami, sometimes you'll take him also for granted. So I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, so Swami, just don't look at me and walk off. That I'm not taking that as an indication. Or if you come and stand in front of me, I'm not going to take that as indication. That happens every day. I want something different. I don't know what it was. I want something different. I want you to indicate something about my pranayama that I did. He came out for darshan. He came straight to the birthday boy, picked up his chocolates and threw. And of course, not one fell on me. Normally it does. He makes sure it falls. But not one fell on me. He looked everywhere. I was like, okay, cool. No problem. This is just the beginning. It's okay. He completely ignored me. He looked everywhere. And he walked off to the ladies' side for his darshan. He went on for a full darshan, and at the time my heart started beating hard. I'm like, oh my gosh, he didn't look at me. Now what happens? He's going to come back and go inside, and then I have to go for bhajan. So what's going to happen? I've got just this much time for that maximum, whatever thing I wanted from Swami, some out-of-the-world sign. So he finished his darshan, and he started coming towards me. I was like, come on, Swami, don't do this to me. Come on, Swami, please, show me some sign, show me some sign. So he walked and he stood in front of me. Now I had a choice. I could have taken that as a sign, but I had already made that's not the sign, right? So I'm telling Swami, please, come on, show me some sign. Swami stood in front of me and talked to a boy 2 rows behind, asking, where are you from? This all vaguely I remember. And then, where are your parents? And that boy standing up and looking for his dad, looking for his mom. All this is going on. I am sitting right under Swami. Swami is standing, I'm sitting right under him, looking up. And my mind is now screaming directly at Swami. Mentally, I'm like, Swami, come on, look down. Okay, forget all that great science. Just look down at me. You've ignored me. I can't do it. I struggled and did 3 days of pranayama. I didn't speak, I didn't sleep much. I was really doing it. Don't do this to me. You have to give me a sign. So that sign from this mind-blowing sign came down to, just look at me, please. Just look at me, I'll be happy. It appeared as if I didn't exist there. I often say this. Now it takes you don't have to be a god to know somebody sitting down and staring at you. You walk in a mall and somebody is staring at you, you'll wonder, hey, why is that person staring at me? You'll wonder, right? You don't need to be divine for that. Here is one guy sitting right here and looking up and staring with eyes. Swami looked down and Swami completely ignored me. And my mind is praying. And at that point, I really was thinking, what is this? I am praying right here. He is standing right in front of me. And why is it not reaching him? During that prayer, this is exactly my thought. As I said, I was given the luxury of time there. And I'm grateful he did that to me. Because at that point I'm thinking, what is it? He's not even listening to me. Swami, please, what is this? I'm talking to him.
I'm asking, I'm praying. Swami, look down, give me a sign. And it appeared like he didn't know anything. It didn't even go to him. He turned. To my shock and disbelief, he turned and started going to the interview room. He stood. He asked the ladies to go inside. He asked the gents to go inside. And I'm like, Swami, please, please, please. He went to the door and he is going to shut it. Sometimes just before he shuts the door, he will peep like this and smile or look at somebody, or sometimes he'll do like this. It's very sweet, depending on who's there, of course. That day it was me. So I was hoping he will do something, just at least look and close the door. So till that time, you had the chance to pray. And I was going, Swami, 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 please, 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 please. The door was shut. No sign. The third time, my mind was blank. The moment the door shut, I realized it was over. And what happened in the next minute happened very fast. I just want to pause here because there are times, sometimes you're just exhausted praying. You can't pray anymore. You try everything you can, and then you sit in exhaustion, and then comes the help. Then, at that moment, the birthday boy got up and went away, and I immediately slid to that corner. I said, 5 more minutes, I had to go to the bhajan hall. So I was just sitting just to calm myself down because I felt like bursting out into tears right there because nothing worked for me. I was so disappointed. I was exhausted. Within a minute, the door opened again. And everybody was hush, 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 hush. Now this happens very fast, okay? Swami came out and started talking to the lady volunteer. Kya, you forgot that lady or somebody. Some lady was forgotten. So she waved and another lady started walking to the interview room door. And Swami comes. He's not even looking at me still, okay? He starts coming and he moves a little so that the lady passes by. And he comes right up to where I'm standing, sitting. He's standing right next to me. He's not looking at me. And I'm completely blank by then. I couldn't have the energy to build it all over again. I wasn't even thinking, honestly. The prayer was over. He went in. Suddenly the door opened. Now his Swami is there. I'm just watching like this. And then, before he went in, he turned around. He brought his thumb close to my face. And I realized he had materialized vibhuti. So there was some vibhuti in his thumb. He put it on my forehead. Went inside. The reason why I love this story, and the lesson I learned from the story, is I wanted something mind-blowing. I didn't even know what it was. I wanted something fantastic. Now, Swami coming and putting vibhuti on my forehead was something I can't even imagine. Like, that's even beyond mind-blowing, right? So I asked something fancy. But when I was asking, I never got it. When I thought I was praying, I never got it. It appeared as if he didn't even hear my prayers. It appeared I was hitting a stone wall. When I gave up, then my innermost desire almost immediately was fulfilled. I think he heard it. So to me, after that lesson, when prayer is all about you, then he steps back. He can't even enter it because it's all about me. That's why he says when you sing Daya Karo, Kripa Karo song, Swami, I'm confused. So at that point I was sitting and saying, Swami, I'm done sadhana. I need blessing. Swami, I want sadhana. I've done so much pranayama. I practiced what you said. Swami, it was all I. I thought I was praying, but it was all about me. I was more engrossed about who I am. It didn't even reach a person less than 1 foot away. But when I stopped thinking, a sense of when I just accepted the situation as it is. I can't. Acceptance. When acceptance came, immediately he came out. He gave me something which really that was mind-blowing. So you ultimately get that innermost desire, but you don't get it by asking. Because God knows your innermost desire. He knows it even before you know it. And He knows how to give it to you. Even beyond your wildest imaginations, gives it to you. Don't ask. Just be. I know it's very tempting to ask, and it's very difficult not to ask. Because it's easy to say, Swami, please guide me. Please, I'm confused. Please do this. Please do that. Are we telling Him because He doesn't know? Or are we telling because we are so involved in our confusion? What is it? Can I resist and say, okay, this is where I am, but
let go, and let God. He gives you far beyond what you can expect. It's amazing. And I just want to share this, another personal story here, simply because recently when I was looking at this purpose in my life, I said, I wanted to spread the mission, yoga, the message of Swami through yoga, and I wanted to do that. But then that needed a lot of money, that needed something. I said I want to do it online. That means I need to have different cameras so that when people are watching, when I say touch the foot, I want the camera, one camera here, one camera here. I had all these fancy ideas. And people would ask me, what do you think? You got to rent a studio, you got to have 4 or 5 cameras, and these days it's all going HD. So renting a studio, have you done a business plan? I drew a business plan and I said, this is not going to work. But having learned this lesson, all I said that this is what I desire to do. He knows when the time is right. But I didn't stop making efforts. But it was no more frantic praying, no more frenzy, no more, Swami, what is this, Swami? This is your mission, I want to do this, blah, nothing. Because I know that your innermost desire will get fulfilled only when you are silent. And guess what? I meet a person who shares my same philosophy just 40 miles down the road, who wants to spread spirituality in life, who is retired, who owns a studio in his basement, who's got fantastic HD cameras. He said, Sunder, this is all yours. Don't worry about the money. This is all yours. I've got something which I couldn't even imagine happened to me. And so now I'm shooting yoga videos. I do 5 or 6. I need a break. I walk down his beautiful backyard to a river where he has a fantastic gazebo. I sit, have my lunch. I'm shooting in a most modern place. And then I walk out in nature. This is even beyond I wanted. This is how God blesses you with. Now what does all this mean? I don't know. But at this moment, I know I had this desire and things fall in place. It didn't happen overnight. There was a waiting period. But that waiting period was, the more silent I became, the more it started materializing itself automatically. God is within you. He's waiting to help you and materialize your innermost desires. I think we need to allow Him to do that. By praying, by asking, we create a static, if you will, around us. And we don't allow divinity to penetrate that static. Swami gives us a very beautiful example of, that is why we have to, before I come to that story, we have to let go. And that means we have to die. That means the my desire, let go. Just quiet. You cease to exist. Let go and let God. Khaku ho Guru ke charan ki. Let me just sing this couple of paragraphs because I love this song. It's written by Swami Brahmananda. And these are other saints and sages who wrote this hundreds of years ago, not because they know Swami, because all of them had the same path. Until, the song says, until you become the dust of the feet of the Guru, you will not realize God. You know how powerful that means, becoming a dust? You can be gone, He can take you up and down the roller coaster, trash you, humiliate you, do everything if necessary. Are you ready to take it and say, it's all yours, take it, give me more. Jo bhaje hari ko sada. It's a very beautiful song. And I'll just sing, I won't sing the entire song, I'll just sing a paragraph or two. Jo bhaje hari ko sada, koi param pad paega. Jo bhaje hari ko sada, soi param पद पाएगा. जो भजे हरि को
सदा सोई परम पद पाएगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा सोई परम पद पाएगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा सोई परम पद पाएगा। देह के माला तिलक अरु छाप नहीं कछु काम के। The beads that you wear and the tilak that you put, all this is of no use. देह के माला तिलक अरु छाप नहीं कछु काम के। प्रेम भक्ति के बिना, प्रेम भक्ति के बिना नहीं नाथ के मन भाएगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा सोई परम पद पाएगा। दिल के दर्पण को सफा कर दूर कर अभिमान को। Clean your heart and get rid of this ego. दिल के दर्पण को सफा कर दूर कर अभिमान को। दिल के दर्पण को सफा कर दूर कर अभिमान को। खाक हो गुरु के कदम की, खाक हो गुरु के कदम की, तो प्रभु मिल जाएगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा सोई परम पद पाएगा। खाक हो गुरु के कदम की, तो प्रभु मिल जाएगा। जो भजे हरि को सदा। So the path of devotion is pretty intense. You know, it's like the carrot and stick approach. Yeah, it's easy. Come. It's a chocolate shown. There's a stick behind there. How difficult it is to give yourself up completely in this path of love. With love, man becomes God. So what is this love? What is this devotion? The energy of love and devotion should be the readiness to give yourself up to God completely, unconditionally, and accept His will as the ultimate will. It doesn't make sense to the intellect. It will not make sense to the mind and the senses. It will not make sense in terms of how practical it is. Nothing. What does this mean in your everyday life? You have to figure it out. How do I become unconditional in my life? You have to figure it out. How do I allow God? You have to figure it. That is the homework we have to do. I cannot teach you that. Nobody can teach you that. Because you have to figure it out yourself. That is where the horse starts drinking the water. But you can continue doing bhajans, continue reading Swami's literature, continue your prayers, continue everything. But with that part, that how do I learn that? How do I go to that place where I'm ready to become dust at Baba's feet? At the feet of my Sadguru. Because until we become empty, until we become completely naked, until we become devoid of all our preconceived beliefs, notions, we have to be ready to drop it. And when that call comes to drop it, you will find how tough it is. And that's why we say spirituality is very tough. Discipline is very tough. Oh my God, spiritual path is tough. Why? Who makes it tough? Me. Why? Because I want to hold on to what I believe in. It is so easy to say, God, come and take over. He says, yeah, make room for me, I'll come. Like Vithala is standing, make room for me. Yeah, wait, I have to take care of all this. I'm holding on to what I like. My likes and my dislikes fill me up completely. And therefore, God doesn't come to me. It's very important for us to be ready to do that ultimate surrender. And believe me, then Sai becomes the very embodiment of who we are. You and Sai become one. You experience Sai in every day of your life, in every aspect of your life. And life becomes empowering, enriched. You become an instrument of God. I told you, Swami gave me that card which said, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. I had it pinned on my the cupboard for many years. And I spoke once in front of Swami about it. And Swami liked it. So after a few years, when I said that prayer again, Swami came the next day and he said, how long you will say, make me, empty, make me? How long who are you to order God? May I? I thought he was first joking. Then I realized, okay, I'll say, may I? And therefore, in my next time I spoke in front of Swami, I said, may I be an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, may I sow love. Where there is hate. Swami said, ippudu manchiga undi. Ippudu baga undi. 3 or 4 years later, I had an opportunity. I said, okay, Swami must have not heard this for a long time. Let me repeat this. Because you get many opportunities to speak to Swami. You can't just repeat it the next day itself. So many years later, I said, may I be an instrument of thy peace. And I spoke. Again, Swami came next day. Is it me? May I, please? Yemtidi? I was like, what? Eppudu cheptunnavu, I am an instrument ani eppudu cheptavu? When are you going to say, I am an instrument of the peace? It's fascinating. And from then I started saying, I am an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, I sow love. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is doubt, I sow faith. From this moment on, I will not seek to be loved as much as I will seek out to love. I will not seek to be pardoned as I will seek out to pardon. I will not seek to receive as I will seek out to give. For it is in giving that I truly receive. It is in pardoning that I am truly pardoned. And it's dying that I am born to eternal life. And every time I say that, it empowers me. It is very humbling and yet very empowering. This is how Swami taught us. This is how he guided. And he allowed time to pass. And he would just ask you a question and make you think, and you'll realize, oh my gosh, this is where I have to be. This is where I have to be. So he started making you ask, and then finally said, start saying it. So when he has told us that this is what you should do, I am God, I am not different from God. I am God, I am not different from God. I think it's time for us to start saying that. I know it may not make sense. Who's this I? Is the big guy, small I? The intellect will start putting all questions at you and making it all sound complicated, make it sound boring. Just start saying it. Start taking the first step, even though the journey seems very obscure. When we left this morning, I know Ani is a very good driver. We didn't know where exactly to come. What did he do? He put the address in GPS. What did we do then? Oh, can we see the entire path from there? No. The GPS said, just back out first. So we backed out. Stop sign coming ahead. We stop sign. Traffic 2 miles ahead. So one step at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And because we took that one step at a time, we reached here in time. You got to understand that spirituality that is all very difficult, I can't do, let me stick to this. Then you'll always be stuck to this. I often have, not an argument, but I often ask people who says, liberation and all will come. That is all, who knows. Why? Why do you say that? Why can't I say, I am liberated, I am God? Why don't you say that? Maybe if you start saying that, that becomes your reality. Because what we say, what we think becomes the reality. Because we don't exist. If I say I am God, I will become God. I will be God. We have to start saying that. It is not blasphemy to say, I and Sai Baba are one. I and Sai are one. He wants us to say that. He lived like us just to show what you can do if you think you are God. If you experience your divinity, look at what you can do. One life, he just showed what one person can do if believes he is God, if she believes he is God. I think it's very powerful, and that is what we need to take home. We can spend, like I said, Swami have all these doors open. We can choose. He has given us one of the greatest wish-fulfilling tree. If you go there and ask for petty things, you will get petty things. If you go there and ask for the highest, you will get the highest. It's your choice. It's your choice. Artha artharthi jignasu gnani. The wealthy man goes and asks for more wealth to God, he'll get wealth. Yeah, sure. That's what you want to ask, you'll get it. When I say ask, I mean whatever way you want to do. When you're sick and you want health, you'll get health, if that's your way to God. When you're a seeker, you want spiritual insights, fine, you'll get that too. But Krishna says in the Gita that the dearest devotee of mine is the one who says, I am God. He's my devotee. Can you believe that? It's fascinating. The jnani is my devotee. Samatvam yoga, one who maintains equanimity in the praise and blame and all that. Just maintain equanimity. Because you don't exist. If you're an instrument, why should you worry? The flute in the hands of a good flute player is not worried about, oh, he's using me up, he's using me down, he's constantly blowing through me. That's my job, that's my role. Use me. Use every aspect of my fiber, every talent in me to fulfill your mission. If that is our prayer, then we become instruments in the hands of Sai. We may not change the whole world, doesn't matter, but we can start changing our family. We can change ourselves. We can inspire our children. I think many times in our life, in spiritual path, children do not learn just by attending classes and by your listening to you. If you're going to say, SSC kids, yeah, let us drop them, we'll go shopping, come back and pick them up, fine, do it. But don't expect the children to be inspired. Children learn from inspiration. If they see their parents involved in spirituality, at some level an awakening happens to them. I saw my parents deeply involved in spirituality. And that's why I wanted answers to know more about what is happening there. That set me on the path. I have friends who wanted to, Sunder, you sing very well. And my son is 5 years old. He was, I think about 5 years old. He said, my son is 5. Can we put him on music also? Can you suggest what to do? I said, okay. What do you want him to do? Sing? No, I think, what about keyboard or something? I said, fine, put him on keyboard. Maybe he'll pick up some music. That's nice. So I met them 3 or 4 years later. I said, how's the music thing going on? So he said, what? Not interested at all. We tried it for 2 years. We forced him, nothing worked. Then we gave up. So I said, sit down. Tell me one thing. They were very disappointed he couldn't pick up music. They said, nobody has music in the family. We thought at least a child will pick it up. I said, fine, sit down. I said, how many times did you take him to concerts or sit down with him and listen to his playing, or take him to things which had keyboard in it and made him listen to it and sit down and listen with him? How many times you sat with that kid and did that? No, he was just learning. Who was the time to sit? He was saying ting, 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 ting. I was just okay. I said, so the kid comes home. There is complete disconnect with what he has to learn, and there is no encouragement at home. Neither does he see his father interested any remotely into music or his mother interested in music. Where will that inspiration come from? So the child says, maybe what I am doing is wrong. So subconsciously, your actions always speak louder than the words. There was a guru sitting and a disciple was talking to him and asking him, and the guru said, I can't hear you. That disciple started speaking louder and louder. The guru says, I still can't hear you. The disciple said, why? He says, I can't. Your actions are much louder than your words. I just can't hear you. Our actions speak louder than our words to our children, to our family, to our fellow workers, to our spouses, to the community, to the world at large. Our actions speak louder than words. Look at what Swami spoke. Look at what he did. Oh my God. Who could have ever had the guts to say, I'm going to start a free hospital doing cardiac operations, not some simple stitches, when you hurt your hand, cardiac operation, in a world which is completely making health and medicine a business. How could one even dare have that vision? His actions spoke louder than his words. He said, let's do it. He did it. When Gayatri Mantra was said, no, only men should chant and only boys should chant, only this higher caste should chant, he picks up the mic and he says, ladies, gents, follow me. And he initiates the whole world into Gayatri Mantra. Who has that vision, that energy, that strength to do it? Only he has that energy and strength. It's fascinating. His actions spoke louder than his words. And that's why no critics, however powerful they were, could do anything to Swami. They couldn't do anything, not just to Swami today. They couldn't do anything to Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. They couldn't do anything to Krishna 5,000 years ago. They can never stop divinity in its past, especially when divinity starts expressing itself in action. So our actions are far, far more important than our words, because they reflect who we are. So if we need to inspire our children, my dear brothers and sisters, I think it's very important that we first question ourselves. The reason I tell this is when I go and when people ask me to speak to SSC children, they say, please tell them to obey their parents. Like, how do I tell them that? What are the parents doing for me to say, I can't judge the parents nor the kids. I don't have kids. I try to get out of it usually. And Sunder was kind enough to let me get out of it today. But the reason is because I think it's very crucial here for us before we go to the SSC children to say, what am I doing to inspire my family? What am I doing to inspire my child? What am I doing to inspire my son, my daughter? I think we need to do that. If we become the change that we want them to become, that's it. Be the change. We can change. And that's what Swami was. He didn't say, everybody practice values, he said, I am divine. I am living Sathya Swarupa. I am Prema Swarupa. I am Jnana Swarupa. And now, millions, thousands of miles across the globe, millions of us sit down and ask, maybe we are divine. Are we divine? How can we be divine? Look at that level of awakening that he has caused simply being in India in one little ashram where there was not even a road going there. Today that's a global place. Isn't it fascinating? These are signs of divinity. And if that divine person is telling us that God is inside you, why are we doubting it? Why are we doubting it? And until we find that little diamond in the attic, our faith is going to go like this. So don't feel guilty about it. We are unable to place 100% faith in an outside God because the lack of clarity inside. Once you see that diamond, you will see this is a reflection of that diamond. The more you understand the diamond, the more you'll understand who Swami is, who God is. And you become part of a divine mission. It's time for us to take the Sadguru and his message to a whole different level. Especially now that he has left us on our own. He said, I've given you everything that I have to. It's up to us to take over. We have a choice. We can go and make satsang after satsang, speakers after speakers, which is not bad, I'm telling you. I'm just saying, if you think just doing that is enough, it's your call. You can make visiting, this person has got this lila going on in their house, let's go there. There, Vibhuti is coming, let's go there. Swami is speaking through somebody, I believe, let's go there. This, that, you can go chasing all this. And you guess what? 40 years later, you'll be still running from pillar to post. If you, and though the hard work seems hard, like I said, put it on GPS, God realization. Put it on your GPS. I am God. I don't have any idea. What do I do with this? I don't know. I just feel like chanting bhajan. Okay, that's the first step. Start. But put it on GPS. Put it on your radar right there. I am God. I am not different from God. Sai is within me. Put it out there. Every day see that destination. Put a sticker in your car. Put somewhere. Every time you look at it, it may not make sense, but believe me, he is there sleeping inside you. He wants to be awakened. Let us awaken him. I want to sing and end this beautiful satsang for which I'm so grateful I was given a chance. I want to end this with my favorite. I sung it last year too. It's Shivoham, this Nirvana Shatangam, the song of liberation. I want to sing this because I believe in this with all my heart and soul. And this is one of the most powerful songs that you can ever come across. The song simply says, I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am the Shiva, I am the Shiva. And if we can put that, like I said, take it home and think about it ever so often, guess what? One day you will find the Shiva within you awakening. Before I sing this song, I want to thank you all for this wonderful opportunity. Thank every one of you for being part of this satsang. And when we talk of him, he is present. He says, you sing my glory, sing my name, I am there. So whether he's sitting on the chair or he's sitting on the empty chair next to you, who knows? Or he is in your heart. He is here. The energy that we have felt today, the vibrations that we take home today is God's vibrations. Guruvayurpura Sri Hari Krishna Narayana Gopal गुरुवायूरपुर श्री हरि कृष्ण नारायण गोपाल। मुकुंद माधव मुरलीधारी नारायण गोपाल। नारायण गोपाल साई नारायण गोपाल। नारायण गोपाल साई नारायण गोपाल। नारायण गोपाल साई नारायण गोपाल। गोवर्धन गिरिधारी मुरारी नारायण गोपाल। मुकुंद माधव मुरलीधारी नारायण गोपाल। गुरुवायूरपुर श्री हरि कृष्ण नारायण गोपाल। मुकुंद माधव मुरलीधारी नारायण गोपाल। नारायण गोपाल साई नारायण गोपाल। नारायण गोपाल साई नारायण गोपाल। नारायण गोपाल साई नारायण गोपाल। गोवर्धन गिरिधारी मुरारी नारायण गोपाल। मुकुंद माधव मुरलीधारी नारायण गोपाल। मुकुंद माधव मुरलीधारी नारायण गोपाल। गुरुवायूरपुर श्री हरि कृष्ण नारायण गोपाल। शिवोऽहं 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 मनोबुद्ध्यहंकार चित्तानि नाहम्। मनोबुद्ध्यहंकार चित्तानि नाहम्। न च स्त्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे। I am not the petty mind, I am not the proud intellect, neither the mighty ego nor the minute thought am I. Touch and hearing, taste and seeing, I am not these sensual feelings. I am not the element of earth, I am not the elusive ether, neither the fierce fire nor the wailing wind am I. I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. Mano buddhi ahankar chittani naham na cha strotra jigve na cha grana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupah shivoham shivoham chidananda rupah shivoham 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 na cha prana sanghyo na ve pancha vayu na cha prana sanghyo na ve pancha vayu nava saptadatur nava panchakosha nava saptadatur nava panchakosha. I am not the vigorous breath, I am not the vital airs, neither the ailing elements nor the astral sheets am I. Organs of action and chain reaction like the hands, the feet, the mouth and conversation, none of these depraved organs am I. I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वे पञ्चवायुः न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोशः न वाक्पणिपादं न चोपस्थपायुः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं 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 न मे द्वेषरागौ न मे लोभमोहौ द्वेषरागौ न मे लोभमोहौ मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभावः न मे द्वेषरागौ. I am bound to no worldly attachments. I am averse to no earthly entrapment. Greed, envy, vanity, aversions, these phantoms bind me not to delusions. I aspire not for any duty, nor to acquire any property, no, not even cherish the desire for liberty, cause I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. न मे द्वेषरागौ न मे लोभमोहौ मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभावः न धर्मो न चार्तो न कामो न मोक्षः न धर्मो न च अर्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं 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 न पुण्य punyam na papam na saukhyam na dukkham na mantro na tirtam na veda na yagnaha unaffected by virtue, untouched by vice, I feel no pleasure, I face no pain. No magic chants empower me, no mystic places purify me. I am not the dogma, nor the doctrines, nor the sacred fire of pilgrims. I am not the senses, I am not the sense. Sensuality to me makes no sense, cause I am truth. Consciousness, divine bliss, I am the Shiva. The Shiva am I. I am the Shiva. The Shiva am I. I am the Shiva. The Shiva am I. Na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na tirtam, na veda, na yagnaha. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhoktaha. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhoktaha. Chidananda rupaha shivoham shivoham. Chidananda rupaha shivoham 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 shivoham. Na mrityur na shanka na me jati vedaha. न मृत्युर्न शंका न मे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माताश्च जन्मा पिता नैव मे नैव माताश्च जन्मा. Frivolous doubts assail me never, fear of death vanished forever. No pride of castes, no prejudice of creeds, no father or mother bore me by their deeds. I am no friend, I am no foe, neither the teacher nor the taught am I. I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. न मृत्युर न शंका न मे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माताश्च जन्मा. न बन्धुर्न मित्रो गुरुर्नैव शिष्या. न बन्धुर्न मित्रो गुरुर्नैव शिष्य. चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपा. अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुत्वा च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणामहं aham nirvikalpo. Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent am I. The unfathomable, inscrutable Shiva am I. I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva. The Shiva am I. I am the Shiva. The Shiva am I. I am the Shiva. The Shiva am I. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhutva cha sarvatra sarvendriyanam. Aham nirvikalpo tvam yajnas tvam vashatkaras tvam indras tvam vishnu tvam brahma tvam prajapati tvam tadapa apo jyotirraso amritam brahma bhurbhuvasuvaro ईशानः सर्वविद्यानां ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपति ब्रह्मणोऽधिपति ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवो अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुत्वा च सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न च सङ्कटं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेया न च सङ्कटं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेया चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. Let's sing together. शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहं. साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्. साई तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्. शिवोऽहं 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 शिवोऽहं.
Brothers and sisters, let us try and take home those divine vibrations. As we leave home, Sunder Iyer usually signs off his emails with 6 words: be well, be willing, be wise. I'm sure you'll all agree that as we leave for home, we are a little more well than what we were this morning, a little more wise, and certainly a little more willing to offer ourselves to our dearest. And in a different context, Sunder Iyer mentioned to keep all the doors open so divinity can flow in through any door. Let me assure you, Sunder, the doors of our center are open and you're welcome to come back whenever you want to. We will conclude with Mangala Arati, and I request Sunder and Maya to please offer Mangala Arati. Sai Ram.
जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक वर्ति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आशित कल्पलतिका आशित कल्पलतिका आपद बांधवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता गुरुदैव मरियल तयुनीवे स्वामी मरियल तयुनीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेंद्र शयना ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओंकार रूपा जय शिव साई महादेवा, सत्य साई महादेवा। मंगल आरती अंदुकु, मंगल आरती अंदुकु, मंदर गिरिधारी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम। नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा की, साई माता की। लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति।